Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here, oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Kencan. Kenny Kencan wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50? You son of a bitch! Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can Smoke and Mirrors. Director 97 home. That is way to Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Joe's one all coming down the finish.
Coin! That's nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the corporate Peter Low Shack, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a dom. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, when we all PSR Pub Sports Radio bizarre. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this but they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, betting with the bag and you love it. We want a top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, January 31st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. January 31st. Happy birthday to Mama Bag. Happy birthday to Mama Bag. Great to see all of you guys. I see Sammy Comer gifting 5 Pub Sports Radio memberships just to get us rolling. Thank you, Sammy. You are a good man and a great friend of the channel, getting us started by blessing our action. Man, a low shack in the bag got me off such a great start to the week. I have fumbled the bag heavy 2 straight days. Basketball has hurt me. What a change! I mean, 2 days. You can ruin a whole season of good work in NBA in 2 days. So frustrating. So frustrating. But I'm ready to attack here and now. I'm not going to sit with the anger that I feel. I'm going to move on to the next bet. Win your next bet. That's all that's important, is to win your next bet. Shout out to all the cappers rocking with us here today. We have a great show. C-Mac joining us for college basketball. I'm going to hit NHL with you guys off the hop. And then we have Morgan Spooner with best bets. He's got 3 best bets in college basketball, so he'll be joining us for a few spots here. Then we roll into NBA, where we're coming off a terrible day. Now, there was some good. There was some good yesterday. First off, and I almost doubled down on it when I looked at it, but DC Capper had a great look on Georgia State first half. I came so close to doubling down, and I wish I had. That was just a no-sweat casher. That was excellent work. Billy Friedrich had some excellent work. I mean, he was on UNC Wilmington minus 11. That closed minus 18.5, and they were up 20 at halftime. I mean, that was huge move. I think I should start opening up to some of those bigger dogs. I mean, we watched Maine destroy in the early game yesterday as well. Now, that wasn't as big of a move from 12.5 to 13.5, but good God, this roller coaster ride is difficult to handle, and the losing days are very difficult to handle. There's Billy Friedrich, the Pig Milk play of the day. Another casher with the yesterday. So, Billy Friedrich, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's 7 straight Pig Milk play of the day cashers for you. Excellent work. We got Justin McKelvey with the Stacks play of the day. Don't look now, Stacks heating up. Rocked with Stacks on Nebraska yesterday. Now, overtime is when dogs go to lose, but I'm starting to realize not home dogs, road dogs. But again, I need to study that longer before I make those kind of statements. Stacks play of the day is in Clippers and Siena here. Let's get this right under the... Oh, and these were moves. God, it's just such a rush getting everything prepared. There were spots in college basketball I meant to bet. Now we'll see if it hurt me or not moving on it yet. Let's get Justin's action here. Siena and the Clippers. Gravy bets, GB9 on the grind, rise and grind, ready to work. Billy Friedrich on St. Peter's as the Pig Milk play of the day. Let's get that copied and pasted as well. Trill OG play today. Jokic over 27.5 points. I did something similar. I almost doubled up on it. And I don't play player props, but I'm on the over 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists. The Sixers are well rested in the perfect part of their homestand, but it's not going to be easy with the injuries they're dealing with to defend Jokic coming off such a bad day. I'm right with you. OG play of the day from LJ from H-Town locked in. I'm right step with them. And you guys know I try so hard not to make any player props, but I moved on that one. Gerald Jones in the house. NCAA futures to win the chip. Houston 9-1, Alabama 14-1, Michigan State 22-1. I like those looks. There's the nuke worker ready to go. Wine Time Sports ready to go. And the Pig Milk UFC play of the day for tomorrow. Shamil Gaziev, Nurmagomedov, and Sharat Nurmagomedov plus 210. I will copy and paste that. Billy, my friend, Pig Milk. We almost lost Pig Milk there for a second. Thank God Pig Milk came back. Pig Milk. Nutflush Allen in the house. Nutflush Allen rolling. There's Turnsey, Aubrey, Travis, Andrew G. Great to see you. And again, thank you to Sammy Calmer for gifting 5 Pub Sports Radio memberships to bless us as we start this Friday show. Juan Chavez, Brent Vini, one Tricks. God, I'm going to have to work on how to pronounce that. Nardi, one, and Curtis Clark getting the memberships. Thank you so much, Sammy. So great to see all of you guys. Time it to get to work. Nasty Nate in the house says Celtics second quarter. We got North Ender says Fairy Tale Ender for the flower. I was thinking of that North Ender. James Bowman had a monster night last night. I love to hear it, James. Justin McKelvey, thank you for the kind thoughts for my mom. Top set ready to go. Coin ready to go. Great to see all of you guys. Jay Peasy, Princeton +3. See, I meant to move on that already. I was going to double down on Princeton, but I got caught up. Satchert says my Illini better figure it out soon. They look bad. They did not look good. But they're a very talented team, and you can have dips in the year. Still very hopeful there for them. I meant to already move on that, Jay Peasy, and I'm excited that you're on it. We'll be talking about that soon. There's Ralph Nunziata in the house, says Purdue Leda Wood. Ralph, it is great to see you, my friend. Newly retired Ralph Nunziata. Oh, wait, Ralph, no, you're not. You have not newly retired. Right, no, Ralph, I'm thinking of it. Sorry. And now Ralph has retracted his statement because I said newly retired. Sorry, Ralph. There's a couple Ralphs. It's great to see you, Ralph Nunziata, my man. Johnny Guns in the house. Great to see you. Crystal Craig says, I'm kicking ass in NBA, but NHL is killing me. I'd love to hear you're beating up NBA. I was thinking about you yesterday, Crystal Craig. I missed you in the chat. A big fat Paulie ready to go. John Young on Zion over 21 and a half. Aaron Malavo in the house. Damn, sorry to hear Kong's Clips dealing with some food poisoning. I hate hearing that, my man. Slatsy45 says the Wild and Under were beautiful. Cap sends under, not so much on Sabres Preds first period. Over 1.5. Redbeard only play today. Sabres money line. Look, I'm a huge Sabres backer, but I don't know what to do with that spot. And there's been that huge market move towards Nashville. I'm looking forward to talk about it, Redbeard. I came close. Christopher Carter in the house. Thank you guys all for joining us. Let's get right to work. Here. So let me get this set up for our first game on the card here. Sorry, I pressed the wrong thing, but an important thing to press. The Alamo Card Show is tomorrow. Join us. Jose will be there. Slaughter, Big T will be there. Victor will be there. Vince Young will be there. So many fun things at the card show this weekend. So please go out and support us at the Alamo Card Show popping off tomorrow. Very, very exciting stuff. All right, let's get started. Jose, my man, let's get started. We move on to NHL. It was a upsetting night. Senators got the job done in overtime. Flyers scored a goal in the first period with about 5 minutes left, but it was called back. So I pushed Flyers first period. I lost Flyers full game. Blackhawks first period plus a half cashed. That was an important goal for Bobano as well. Winnipeg, Boston under 5.5. I probably should have pulled it when Swayman wasn't going to be in there. Ducks plus 156. Maybe I went to the well too many times. I'm okay with it. Oilers minus 1.5. I thought I was in business. Lion played phenomenal. 2-0 lead for the Oilers, and they can't take care of business. And then Kraken -1 was very, very easy. All right, let's get to work. And we start with the Redbeard game, a perfect game for us to start with. 7 p.m. Eastern, the Nashville Predators 8. When I come back here on Tuesday for Low Shack in the Bag, that record is going to be in the black. That's going to be in the black. Basketball has put horrific knots in my back this week. I just going to be laser. I'm going to hit some horses, but I'm going to be laser focused on hockey all week. Hockey. Be in the black when this is done. Billy Friedrich, yes. Kuzmenko and Palche to the Flyers for Frost and Farabee. Turnsey was talking about it, and we should, talk a little bit about it. Turnsey was messaging me about it. So these are just, 2 first-round picks from Frost and Farabee, I believe 2017, 2018, that the Flyers have given up on. The Frost and Farabee have the value in this, so that's why the Flyers are getting a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick. And Kuzmenko and Torts, I don't think will work. Now, oftentimes when you can put a player who's not fit in a couple different spots, send him to a new team, there can be a little bump. He's got Matvei Michkov too, where he can at least show some leadership, because that's been the problem with Kuzmenko all the time. My prediction is it does not work. Now, I'd love it to work. I've got Flyers futures. But my expectation is that this is the last 35 or 40 games Kuzmenko will play in the NHL. He'll be in the KHL next year, and we'll never hear from him again. And he'll end up in Tortorella's doghouse. He'll be a healthy scratch, down the stretch. That's my expectation. But I think it was important for them to get Frost and Farabee out of the room. Sometimes you need to shake things up. And Philly Eagle Flyers says Flyers should have had 3 goals. One was a shaft save. Yeah, it was disappointing, but it's okay. I still there's a great weekend of action, and I think a lot of these spots set up nicely. Slatsy says, and there's Viper MB in the house. Okay, let's get to work. And James Bowman, now a PSR Gold member. He is in our race today for $50. Thank you, James. I love it, man. Welcome. James Bowman was with us yesterday for the first time, had a monster day, and rocking with us. Oh, by the way, Gerald Jones, it's his granddaughter Mila's birthday. Happy birthday to Mila. That's very cool. Mama Bag and Mila sharing the same birthday. Happy birthday, Mila. And Gerald Jones, you have such a great family. You've earned all that. And respect, my man. Slatsy says Preds 10-2 last 12 versus Sabres in Buffalo. First period over is cash last 5 meetings. And he's looking at Tage Thompson goal. North Ender on the Preds money line at minus 125. Let's get into that line history off the hop here. I've got a basketball up. Let me just quickly change it to NHL, and let's go over this spot. It's a tricky one. It's coin flippy, and I guess I'm thankful I stayed off, really, because the Sabres opened up at minus 102. They're now plus 114. So there's been a 16-cent move towards the Nashville Predators. There's only 4 games in NHL, so get ready for college basketball with Conor Mac and Morgan Spooner. It's going to be popping off here shortly. This total is at 6.5. It opened up at 6, move towards the over. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York, where the Sabres are 10-12-3. Nashville is a minus 125 favorite, and they played 25 road games this year, and they've won 6 in regulation. The market is telling us that the Predators are going to win. And I don't know if I want to back that. UC Saros does not look good. 11, 20, and 6, 2.86 goals against average, 900 save percentage, 4 shutouts. Aluokinen, 16, 15, and 4, 2.97 goals against average, 898 save percentage, 2 shutouts. I was high on Saros a couple of years ago. I'm surprised he received the extension in the offseason. Aluokinen, I think, is the better goaltender now. Nashville power play at 21.7%, penalty killing 81.6%. Buffalo power play at 17%, penalty killing at 77.2%. And Nuffler says, add another layer to the team that loses by 30 or more, team total over winner. And the Grizzlies do win, but I don't cover. It was difficult, very, very difficult, tough loss. Philly Eagle Flyer is on the over trifecta here. So the Sabres power play at 17%, penalty killing 77.2%. Predators coming off their second straight loss, 3-1 at home versus Vancouver on Wednesday. We were on the Canucks. It was a nice win. Nashville's missing 3 useful pieces in their lineup. We spoke about it on Wednesday. Luke Evangelista, who I know only has 4 goals this year in 39 games, but mark my words, he will be a 40 goal scorer in his career. He's a sniper, played for London and starred for the London Knights here in Ontario. Mark Jankowski and center, depth center, tough, accountable, hands of stone, and Jeremy Lauzon, a defenseman, all dealing with injuries. This team has stepped up because of Philip Forsberg. Nobody else. I mean, Yossi's playing a little better. Shea's getting more comfortable, but Philip Forsberg, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points in 11 games this month. He didn't score a single goal in December. So obviously they're getting more comfortable here, that first line. The Sabres coming off an impressive 7-2 win at home over the Bruins on Tuesday. That would likely be the spot where you might want to fade them. I like the Sabres. I think they are better than the market indicates. I can understand anybody looking at this market and saying the Predators are the bet. JJ Peterka has taken the next step. 23-year-old second-round pick in the, I do have it written somewhere, 2020 draft out of Germany. He had 3 goals, 1 assist against the Bruins. He was a +6. This is game 2 of 4-game homestand. Buffalo's a healthy group, just the Jordan Greenway out. This I do not find. Look, I don't want to fade the Sabres here. I guess that's it. But it's pretty clear the market is telling us that the Predators are the bet. I don't want to make a bet in NHL simply based on market. So I think I'd prefer just to leave it off. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, Vancouver Canucks 23-17-10, 14-7-4 on the road at the Dallas Stars, 32-17-11, 8-7-1 at home at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Thatcher Demko coming off a beauty game, going up against Jake Ottinger. And Coin saying Nashville's allowed 5 goals in 3 straight road games. Look, I get why you guys are on the over. Again, I was staring at this card for a long time, so I should have moved on the over 6, and I'm not going to take it at 6.5, but I support anybody who's on that spot. So let's get into the line history here. But before we get into line history, I would like to say something. And I talked a little bit about it with just anger on yesterday. And I just, I've sat and I've dropped the anger so I can think about it clearly and say things without, fueled by anger. But I am, and I'm just going to say this one more time so we can just move past it. I am appalled at Jim Rutherford. Appalled. You would think a 75-year-old executive, would know better than to say what he said in the media. The Canucks have won 3 straight games. And he says he talks about the problems to a writer. He tells the writer that the problems between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson are hurting them badly, and they can't move forward and all this stuff. Even if that's the case, he should be ashamed of himself for saying that in the media, forcing all the reporters to go to JT Miller, and this team's on a 3-game winning streak. He's playing well. He's dominating the face-off circle, and have forced JT Miller to say, I have no comment on Rutherford's comment. So it exasperates the problem, right? Because now you lower the value of both Pettersson and Miller. There are going to be other GMs that think that they may have character issues. You also make other GMs think that the Canucks are forced to make a trade and that they can be lowballed. You are lowering the value of your team, your players, your star players. And all he had to say, and this is from the 75-year-old guy doesn't know any better. All he had to say is, we are a team. Things like this happen to teams from time to time. We will deal with it internally, and we will continue to focus on winning hockey games. Is that hard to say, Jim Rutherford? I was so excited about you coming over to the franchise, and now would you rather be the editor of some fucking Puck Bunny magazine? Do you want to talk about rumors and how they don't like each other? Is that what you want to talk about, Jim Rutherford? You fucking asshole, forcing all of these reporters to line up at JT Miller's fucking dressing room stall and have him to explain himself, and he says no comment. When he wouldn't have to say anything, he could say, look, I just won 20 of 24 faceoffs and we've won 3 straight, but instead he's got to answer to his asshole president of operations opening this up again. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. Because it just does not help the show. We're just trying to cap games. But Jim Rutherford made such an egregious error. When they've won 3 straight games, they're getting their shit together, and he has to fucking wax on about, these guys don't like each other, it's hurting our fucking team. You're a little girl. Are you in high school, Jim Rutherford? Are you 12 years old? Shut the fuck up. Say something positive about this hockey team that's won 3 games in a row. Don't open this up again. They don't like each other. It's ruining our team. It's hurting our team. You're a little girl, Jim Rutherford. Makes me want the team to lose now. I want the team to lose because you don't deserve any success. You, Jim Rutherford, Rick Tocchet don't deserve any success. Now I'm on the Canucks tonight. Let's get into it. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This total is at 5.5. It's minus 114 to the under. It opened minus 107 to the under. We've had a 7-cent move to the under. On the money line here, the Canucks are plus 152. I did feel like I timed it. Now, I hope I timed it right. I hope I've timed it perfectly because I haven't done a good job of that last couple of days. I bet the Canucks at plus 158. And I took it a step further. I took the team total over 2.5 at plus 102 for the Canucks. Slot says, where do you think Miller ends up? On the Vancouver Canucks. I think they should. But the problem is that you can't trade Pettersson because Pettersson is one of the worst contracts in the National Hockey League. Do you see what JT Miller is doing in the faceoff circle? JT Miller is, look, you have to massage certain characters if you're going to run a team, and teammates get in fights, and teammates sometimes don't like each other. That's okay. Focus on winning. Respect play of the day cashed yesterday. Respect back in business. There's Dan Kelly in the house. Great to see you, Dan. Dan, I had two of the worst days of my life in NBA the last 2 days. Dan, I need help to get out of this. Okay, sorry. Take the anger out of Jim. I cannot believe a 75-year-old executive would act like a girl reading a gossip magazine. Okay. Thatcher, yes, not flush. I'm on the Canucks tonight. Now, I didn't want to be after Rutherford opened up his little bitch mouth and started talking about. I didn't want to be, but I felt that I had to be. So I got on the plus 158. I got the team total over 2.5 at plus 102. So I'm doubling up on this hockey game tonight. The Canucks 20. Now the Canucks are much better than not only does their record indicate, but they are much better than the market is evaluating them at. Vancouver's power play 22.8%, penalty killing 80.4%. Dallas's power play 18.8%, penalty killing at 84.2%. We said I got at a plus 158. It's now at plus 152. This opened up at plus 162. We've now had a 10-cent move towards the Vancouver Canucks. This total we already went over. It's juiced to the under, 7-cent move to the under. The Canucks coming off their third straight win, 3-1 at Nashville on Wednesday. This is the final game of a 3-game road trip. They have outscored the Blues and Predators 8-3 over the first 2 games. Kiefer Sherwood is on the IR. Now that hurts. I mean, he's been phenomenal, hitting everything in sight. Dakota Joshua has returned. That's a big deal. If he can play like he did last year, now he's not being quite a menace as he was last year, but he's got to be. He's got to be the toughest guy on the ice. Now let's talk about Dallas. Comes in off their third straight win, 4-3 overtime at Vegas on Tuesday. Now Dallas has a decision to make here, an interesting one that we will follow here for the rest of the season. Dallas comes in off their third straight win, 4-3 in overtime at Vegas on Tuesday. It was an extremely costly victory. They lost Miro Heiskanen to a knee injury. Heiskanen plays 25 minutes and 9 seconds a game. He's hugely important. It's not clear if he'll miss weeks or months, but the Stars believe he will at least return before the end of the season, which means they can keep Heiskanen out and now have $15 million to sign players and have Heiskanen and Seguin in the lineup for the first game of the playoffs. It could be so egregious and so blatant that rules will have to be changed. Now they're saying that they're watching this very closely, and I'm going to watch it closely. I think every hockey head's going to watch it closely. But now they could have $15 million at the trade deadline. Really $18 million, but it's prorated. It's 15. But 15 prorated in a short period of time is just such a huge amount of money. So keep an eye on that. So you have Heiskanen out, and you have Nils Lundqvist out. And that puts a ton of now Nils Lundqvist's only playing 15 minutes a game, but that puts a ton of pressure on Thomas Harley and Esa Lindell. So you're missing Marchment as well. This is the first of a 2-game homestand. They play Columbus on Sunday. So is this a team that's going to step up now that their star defenseman is out? They just beat the Knights in overtime 4-3. They're feeling good about themselves. They've won 3 straight. I just think the Canucks they should not be this big of a dog. And if Dallas was playing the way, we've seen them play, Dallas would be minus 200. There we go. I'm on doubling up. I'm on the Canucks at plus 158. I'm on the Canucks team total over 2.5 at plus 102. Again, anytime you like a dog and the total is a 5.5 and you like the dog to win, you probably should almost always bet their team total over 2.5 at plus money, I think. Okay, let's move on. God, I don't want to talk about the Canucks again. Let's move on. 9 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Blues 23, 24, and 4, 12, 11, and 3 on the road. The Colorado Avalanche 29, 21, and 2, 14, 10, and 2 at home. We're at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Jordan Binnington, Mackenzie Blackwood. This is a real fascinating capping situation, and I'm not sure if I did it right. And I'll tell you how I bet it here. AOD in the house. Great to see all you guys. Slatsy sitting on that Stars at plus 1,100. I've got the plus 1,000. Not quite as good as you. Res Mob, Donut Silks, O'Brien Palmer. Great to see all of you guys. Let's roll. And Philly Eagle Flyer says Pedersen or JT. Just tell me who you're trading. I would trade Pedersen for a. If I could get one first round pick for Pedersen, I'd wipe the slate clean and I'd never speak of him again. If I could, but you can't. Redbeard says JT Miller goal. Redbeard, JT Miller, I feel so terrible for him. I mean, he's so unhappy dealing with this shit. Got the young family. I mean, I feel terrible for him. So, and I just feel very bad for him. And Pedersen's such a bitch. You can't talk to the media. He's always in a bad mood. I mean, God. I mean, can you imagine this guy coming after Daniel and Henrik Sedin and Matthias Oland? Makes a bad name for the country, but obviously won't put on country. Okay, Blues, Avalanche, Ball Arena, Binnington, Mackenzie Blackwood, St. Louis, power play 18.8%, penalty killing 71.8%, Colorado, power play 20.3%, penalty killing at 79.9%. Let's get into the line history here. Just two more games, and then we'll break into college basketball with CMAC. We have Colorado minus 175. So there's been a big move towards St. Louis. Now, again, you know, this similar thing with you like the dog, you take the team total over. I couldn't really. It was a little bit too expensive, I felt, for the team total over 2.5. Vig is our biggest enemy here. And speaking of Vig being the biggest enemy, I know St. Louis has lost 3 straight and hasn't played since Monday. I know that Monty's going to have them so ready to go in this hockey game. And so much so that I think that trumps the Avalanche first home game with Nate Chess and Jack Drury in the lineup. Now, again, this is a fascinating capping situation, and I'd love to hear how everybody wants to handle it. So how I handle it is I bet the over 6 at plus. No, I don't even think it was plus. Was it plus? Yeah, no, it was plus. It was just barely plus. Plus 100. Over 6 at plus 100 for me in this one. Right now, it's at minus 102. It did go against me for a second to plus 104. I see goals being scored in this game, and I want to back the Blues, but I'm hesitant. My guy, UPK Ayash Yala in the house. Great to see you. Excellent work there with Blackhawks and Blue Jackets, my man. Excellent work. So the Blues are so well rested, coming off their 3rd straight loss, and I plan to bet them at Utah on Sunday. Now, I probably won't bet them at Utah if they beat the Avalanche here. But if they lose to the Avalanche, which is what I kind of want to have happen, then I can bet them at Utah on Sunday. This is a healthy group. Nick Leddy is out with an injury. And Brandon Saad, this is a fascinating thing, and I know we don't have too much time here, but Brandon Saad and the Blues agreed to terminate his contract. And that was all Saad doing that. So Saad has the 5-year, $22.5 million contract with 1 year remaining. So he agreed to terminate his contract to be an unrestricted free agent, and it cost him $5.4 million. Everybody is astonished that Saad at his age and playing the way he is betting on himself. I will be absolutely shocked and so impressed if he can make more than $5.4 million over the rest of his career, let alone over the next year and 2 months. But I predict that Brandon Saad doesn't make $2.7 million for the rest of his career. He's not made enough money to make this financial decision. You always like it when the player bets on himself, but a shocking decision by Saad to terminate his contract and become unrestricted. This is the Avs' first home game, as I said, with Natchez and Jack Drury. They're coming off their 4th loss in 5 games, 5-2 at the Islanders on Tuesday. This is the first of a 2-game homestand. They face the Flyers on Sunday. Big Val Nichushkin remains out of the lineup. I think there's going to be goals. I had a chance to take the over 5.5 minus. I could have got down to about minus 120. And instead, I took the over 6 at plus 100. It would have been a little over minus 120 to take the 5.5. But I don't want the VIG. I don't want the VIG. I think goals will be scored in this hockey game. Okay, let's roll on. That's Blues Avalanche. Final spot on the board before college basketball, 9 p.m. Eastern with the Columbus Blue Jackets at Utah Hockey Club. Now, look, this is the absolute perfect spot for Utah. Perfect. And I can't back them. I can't bet them. They're not a good hockey team. Their best sniper, Dylan Gunther's not out there. Their best defenseman, I think, Sean Dursey. I don't even think it's Mikhail Sergachev. Dursey's been out most of the year. Sergachev has come back. There's been a huge move towards Utah, rightly so. Columbus coming off the overtime victory in Vegas, second game of a back-to-back. There's been a big move to the under. This under 6 was plus 105. It's now minus 106. That makes sense to me because Daniil Tarasov has had shown some signs. Now, I know he got destroyed in his last game, but look at the 2 games he played previous to that. They were quite good. This line's just flying towards Utah. Opened up minus 185, now at minus 211. I could have got there at minus 185. I could have had them at minus 185 and talk about how I beat the big line move, but I just don't want Utah. Why would I want Utah? Shout out to our guy, Clint Zerlgan. First day in Vegas with the wife and kids. Where should we go? I love it. What casino you guys at? I love it. Chosen Ones made a move on Mount St. Mary and Merrimack under. So Tarasov, horrific numbers. 13 starts this year. 3.83 goals against average, 871 save percentage. Karel Vejmelka is playing very well, 912 save percentage. Both teams have the exact same power play. Utah has better penalty killing. The Jackets are playing so well. I was so wrong about them falling off when Sean Monahan got hurt. Utah comes in off its third straight loss, 3-2 in overtime at home versus the Penguins on Wednesday. This is game 2 of a 4-game homestand. Look, I just don't want them. I don't want them as this big of a favorite. I'm not going to expect the Jackets to play well here after beating Vegas in overtime. So I'm off the spot. I had every opportunity to take the Utah Hockey Club on the -1 line. I didn't. So there we go. I have 3 bets in NHL tonight. I have the Vancouver Canucks at plus 158, Vancouver Canucks team total over 2.5 at plus 102, and I have the over 6 in the Avs Blues game at plus 100. Dan Bonner says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Going right back to Logan Cooley, who's a great hockey player. Talking about how good Gunther is doesn't mean I don't think Cooley's great. Dan Bonner going back, cashed 5 of last 6 and 4 of last 5 at home. Don't expect him to stop shooting. I love it, Dan. All right, that is NHL for you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. We've got a lot of best bets coming in from cappers here in college basketball. I can't wait to go over them all with our expert. And I'm coming off a rough day, 4-7-1. It's just been a rough 2 days of basketball for me. Kennesaw State plus 3 lost. Penn State -3 lost. Delaware plus 2.5 lost. Wright State plus 2 pushed. And, I'm happy. I take the push. Bobano gets to catch the money line. It's good. But Wright State was up 20 points. I mean, it was just very frustrating to watch. Great call by DC Capper on Georgia State. Joined them on first half. I almost doubled up on it too, but I didn't double up on one spot all day, and I didn't think I should. So that cash. Nebraska plus 3.5 cash. That's Justin McKelvey. IU Indianapolis is probably one of the worst bets I've ever made in my life. Would have to be up there. They were just horrific. Middle Tennessee, I had real cold feet about adding it, and I could have bet them live too, and I didn't do that. IPFW was a mistake. Idaho plus 2 was comfortable casher. UC Davis plus 5.5 was a comfortable casher. And then Tulane plus 6. I went down with a bunch of you guys, and that one hurt. It was close. There was a chance for me to have a winning day there, but it did not happen. I'm angry. I'm champing. And we have just the capper to lead us to the cash, which we need. We need. I was so happy coming into Wednesday show. Now I'm just a mess. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, the star of Hitting the Books YouTube channel. It's the star of college football and college basketball here on Pub Sports Radio. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, our guy, Mr. Conor Mac, CMC Music Factory in the house. Mac, how are you?
Yo, Jimmy, let's get to it. Friday vibes to the weekend. Let's get some money, man.
We need it.
Yeah, I know. Shit.
Let's get to work right now. Let me just set up the odds here over to.
Also, yeah. I forgot to send you a message. I moved on that Belmont over, so just add that. It won.
Okay.
On Wednesday, I tweeted it.
Oh,
it's,
okay.
it's out there.
Okay, cool. We'll add that for sure. Okay, and I'll make a note of that right now. Okay, add Bell over. Okay, that's great. When you tweet it, it is very helpful because then everybody gets to see the additions as well. So that's great. Thank you for doing that. All right, let's roll. We have action at 5 p.m. and JPZ has already moved on it. He's moved on Princeton, and I had meant to double up on Princeton. Now it doesn't. It looks like everything's fine. I don't need to worry at this point. This line's not moving at all, so at least we can talk it out and not stress it out. So let's get into this. 5 p.m. Eastern. The Yale Bulldogs 11-6, 4-0 in the Ivy League. The Princeton Tigers 14-5, 3-1 in the Ivy League. Jadwin Gymnasium in Princeton. We have the Princeton Tigers at opening up plus 2.5. Wow, really? Why did I think? So this has moved against them plus 3.5. Huh. I really kind of thought this was going to move towards Princeton. Now it is juiced to minus 114. This total is a 148 juiced to the under. Opened up at 146.5. So we've climbed a 1.5 to 148. Let's get to the cash flow here. Public betting. Sorry, give me a second. Here we go. Move over to college basketball. So cash flow for this one. And I assume that we're going to get a lot of information on today's. Yeah, we are. Oh, no, it stops. Whatever. We get some. And we have some here. 58% of tickets and 76% of the cash is on Yale. Makes me hesitant to get in the way of it. 41% tickets, 44% cash is on the over. Yale comes in off their 5th straight win, 84-55 beatdown of Harvard at home on Saturday. They were 13.5-point favorites. They dominated from start to finish. Princeton had their 7-game winning streak snapped in 85-76 loss at home to Cornell on Saturday as 3.5-point favorites. That situation, C-Mac, of Yale coming off, dominating their rival Harvard at home, and then Princeton getting a little bit of a wake-up call, from Cornell, makes me want to back Princeton. But do I want to go up, especially with the way I'm running the last 2 days, do I want to go up against this market move against Princeton? Take it away. A fun game at 5 p.m. that I would like to have action in, but I won't force. And shout out to UPK Yashiala. I love it, man. I love it. I love that you're trusting the Sabres at home. I can't go up against that market move, but I love it. And Jackets and Blues. Go get it, my man. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Bulldogs, Tigers in Princeton.
Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys as always. This should be a really good game. Like Princeton finally drops one at home to Cornell. Before that, they had won, I think 7 in a row. But, man, they've been not covering games at all. But I think there's value a little bit with them here. Even though I think Yale might be the better team, we know this is always a big game between these two. And we've seen it in the results, even the last few years. Just good games that go to OT and that are tight. Usually the home team takes care of it. Princeton's not laying anything. That's been their problem. When they've been home laying points, they've been like the ultimate fade. Now you're catching them here at home, catching 3.5. A team that shoots that well, they're not great from the free throw line. They shoot the 3 well. They shoot a ton of them, 27. They make about 10 a game. I think they're live here. Princeton to 3.5.
So do I. Are you nervous or uncomfortable, I should say? 2.5 to 3.5?
A little bit. I still think they're the move here.
Are you going to make it official? Because I was also, and I'm nervous. Maybe I should just stay off of the spot, but I was also thinking back in the first half. I mean, am I going to sit here and say I need every single thing to correlate to make a bet? When I do that, it works better for me.
Do that. It works better,
But I want
stick to it.
The situation here just makes so much sense.
I love them off the loss here. This team's won 7 in a row. And like I talked about, they were last time they covered a number was at Rutgers, where they were a dog. This is where you want them. I have to say, I get the first half, Jimmy. A lot of dogs the last 2 or 3 days have fucking died in the second half. We talk about OT, insane amount. Where even I'm like, what the fuck? It's been pretty nuts, I think, the last few days. So, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna wait. This game's at 2 though, right? 5 Eastern.
Yeah.
It's a little bit early. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just okay. God, he's this. I mean, Real Madrid in the house. Real Madrid says Yale 7-0 against the spread with rest versus teams coming off a loss as a favorite. Yale's winning these games by more than 16 points per game. I didn't. I wrote all those notes and I haven't pulled up the actual game. I should have.
I love that. I mean, always look at those numbers though. I mean, how many were against winning teams? How much are a team like in a big rivalry game like Princeton? How much were that against just dog shit? Dartmouth, you know what I mean? All these other teams that they constantly play. So it's always when you look at all those trends that everyone, runs that have to be looked at. I agree. Just maybe roll through them a little bit.
Well, also, there's no rest advantage here. Sorry, I would have written that down. There's no rest advantage. Real Madrid. Oh, maybe you're saying, sorry, not rest advantage, but with rest. So I guess
just like a week's rest. I mean, their last game was 6 days ago.
Yeah, okay. I feel that. And look, I mean, you're right. They beat up on Harvard and Dartmouth. Is exactly what we're talking about. There's no shame. We don't need to sit here and hem and haw, but I was expecting to be on Princeton first half full game, and maybe I get there. It's a funny thing because you would want the line to move in your favor a little bit, or at least stay stagnant. And maybe we'll get that information here at the end of it. Let's roll on. We move on to 6:30 p.m. Eastern action. Butler Bulldogs 9-12, 2-8 in the Big East at the Georgetown Hoyas 13-8, 4-6 in the Big East. We're at Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. Both teams coming off of losses on Tuesday. Now, Butler's wasn't as bad as Georgetown's, but they were both bad. And Kelly McInnes does at Princeton +3. I mean, I'm very interested. A Redbeard on the under 149. That's an interesting look, too, with the importance of that basketball game that we just spoke of. But let's talk. Butler coming off their second loss in 3 games, 78-69 at home versus Marquette as 8.5-point dogs. I was on them, and they were up 7 at halftime. And I told you guys how when a team is between like 12 and 15 or 12 and 16 point dogs, I only take them first half. It wasn't that situation here with Butler. They're 8.5-point dogs, which I'm comfortable with. They were up 7 at halftime, and they fell apart. My guy, Sweaty Butcher in the house. What up, Sweaty Butcher? Great call. Great work in the NBA. Being bullish on Portland, Sweaty Butcher was very impressive. Georgetown comes in off their 6th loss in 7 games, 66-41 at home to St. John's. This was the start of my week in college basketball. And then I dominated the rest of that Tuesday card. But Georgetown was down 37-9 with 5 minutes left in the first half. They shot 24.6 from the field and 23.1% from 3. I want to back them here. But it's a tricky spot. So let's get into the line history and hear what CMAC has to say about this one. I love these 14-game Friday schedules because we can touch on each and every game. This line has moved. It actually hasn't moved. Okay, that's good. Okay, so at this sharp offshore, it opened up at +3.5 -108. Butler's now +3.5 -112. So 4 cents of movement towards Butler. I had thought that the Hoyas had got up to 4 or 4.5 at some point, but maybe I'm just tripping. This total's at 140. It's juiced to the over. It got down to 139.5, then back up to 140. It's a half-point move towards the over. And when we get to the cash flow for this spot, 39% of the tickets and 47% of the cash are on Butler. 68% of tickets and 70% cash is on the over. This is tricky on multiple levels. CMAC one, you look at Butler's record 9-12, 2-8 in the Big East. I mean, if Georgetown wasn't coming off such a horrible game, I mean, this is a pretty two even teams. And so I guess I don't really want to just fade. I hate backing the team with the better record overall and in conference here, and paying a premium on the record when it doesn't really tell the tale of how the two teams are or how they've been playing, which makes me hesitant. So take it away for us here, CMAC. Bulldogs, Hoyas, I'm all ears because I'm interested in Georgetown.
I mean, this is, I think, kind of the spot for them. I mean, after that unbelievable start to the year, I mean, this team's really hit the shits. Losers are 5 of 6, and it has been very good. Butler, on the other hand, yeah, that second half was about as bad as it can get. If the team's anything like this, you know, I just don't agree to move the over. Like, cause I think that we could finally see points. Georgetown unders have been money for me all year long. I worry they finally have a pretty good shooting night here. You know, after the horrible game where they only scored 41 points against St. John's. But all year long, these unders are just cash for Georgetown because their defense, they play super slow. They have to play defense. They're not a great shooting team. And like you saw in the second half of Butler, I don't think they made a shot for like 7 minutes. Yeah. I don't know if you were tuning into that game. It was like, that was a tough watch. Yeah, they couldn't get a bucket after just a great first half. That was a tough game. But yeah, I think these teams are pretty even. It's just when a team like Georgetown doesn't shoot the ball well, now you're kind of paying a premium like you're talking about, late 3.5. I don't want to do it. So, you know, if you were on Georgetown early and made money, and if you've been off them, that's been good, or going against them because they have been losing. So I like this under. I disagree with this move forward. I just think these teams, maybe we get more points and we get hot shooting. It scares me a little bit.
God, it is such an annoying spot here. Aubrey Travis on Georgetown. I mean, if I was just left to my own X's and O's, I'd be on Princeton and Georgetown here to start the day. It just doesn't all correlate, and I still may end up doing it. I hate this feeling when you're coming off 2 bad days because you reach and you overbet. And I mean, I don't overbet unit size. I just bet more than I would like to. Coin St. Butler 0-4 on the road in conference play. We can move on from this spot. Do you have a lean to the under at this one? In this one, C-Mac?
Yeah, it's a little weird why this number's gone up. Maybe it was just a little bit too low. You know, Butler plays a little bit higher pace. I mean, their points, they're defensively, they're not great. But if you think of Georgetown, you like them here, they kind of dictate the tempo of this basketball game, right? At least to the under. Maybe they have an unreal shooting day, but we haven't seen it in a while. This team has got more than 68 points in 3 weeks. Yeah.
God, I really want them here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to. God, both these teams coming off losses, it's just my wheelhouse, and maybe I should just look past it. And I may do that. A couple things here with Cappers in the chat. We have T-Moss joining us. T-Moss, I know you left the show yesterday, but there was an outpouring of love for you, my man. A lot of respect for the difficulties that you're going through as your stepdad's now in the palliative and you're spending each day at the hospital. There was a ton of love in the chat for you, and I just hope you feel it and know that you're not alone having to travel to the hospital each and every day. For parents in their 80s, it's very tough, and a lot of us are going through it, and that's what happened with people in the chat. We're talking about how they were going through it as well. And so just want you to know that, and great to see you, my friend. And then put the fries in the bag. Yes, our Pub-A-Palooza. Now, this weekend, we have the big card show. We have our big card show that we're really, really excited about. All the boys will be there. And now I won't. Like, C-Mac is not coming down from Vegas. Like, we're all coming down for Pub-A-Palooza 4. And that's March 20th to 23rd. A lot of us going from 19th to the 24th. That's when we'll all be at Southtown 101 in San Antonio. But this week, and there's a huge deal at the Alamo Card Show, and Jose and all the guys will be there. So,
wow, Vince Young. Huh?
Yeah, Vince Young and Beckett's coming to certify all signatures.
Nice.
And all that. Yeah, or not Beckett himself, but Okay, so that's what's up. Put the fries in a bit. Yeah, it's March, and we're really, really, really excited. But good God, do I need winners to help facilitate everything in life? So let's move on to the next spot here on the card and set this one up. Next up, we head to the Metro Atlantic. Then we go to the A10. Then we head back to the Ivy League. In the Ivy League, the Brown, Pennsylvania spot is Morgan Spooner's first spot on the board here. Timas, it's so tough what you're going through. And again, when you're going through something like that and you're physically alone at the hospital or just sitting there, and your parents aren't speaking, I just know that we are behind you and we are thinking of you and we can't wait to cap with you, and we're thankful, very thankful for your friendship. And that's the main thing I just want you to know, is just that as difficult and tough as it seems, we're right there on your shoulder, capping with you and hopefully delivering winners. Let's get into this one here. Iona Manhattan. Oh God, Iona turned it around at a great time here. They've now won 3 straight. They're coming off a win against Siena. They're climbing up the Metro Atlantic standings. Now it's Marist, Quinnipiac, and Merrimack that are on top of it, all at 8-1. They beat Siena 72-68. They were 4.5-point favorites, so they didn't cover. They didn't play very well. They played sloppy. It was a real, there was some. They shot 46.6 from the field and 42.1 from 3. But when you hold your opponent to 38.9 from the field and 33.3 from 3, you should probably cover and win by margin, something that they did not do. Manhattan coming up their second win in 3 games. So both these teams played on Saturday. Manhattan took out Mount St. Mary's. Now, Mount St. Mary's is a pretty good squad. They're just 4-5 in conference. I think they're a little better than those numbers indicate. But they went into Mount St. Mary's and beat them up bad. Beat them 74-64 as 3.5-point dogs. They didn't shoot the ball very well. It was just a regular, but now they were up 35-25 at the half. They looked very good. So they've won 2 of 3. And Iona's won 3 of 4. And one of those wins did come on the road against a pretty weak Rider team. So let's get into the line history and the cash flow and then hear from CMAC. We have this total at 147.5. Now, I see a ton of 148s, but this is 147.5. This opened up at 147. This was up at 148.5 right when the show started. So in the last 20 or 30 minutes, it's dropped. And then when we get to the line history here for this, I'm just starting to get out of the seething anger I felt, just starting to, which is good. And I thank you for that, CMAC, and everybody in the chat. The need to succeed with our action is just so important. And I was in such a good spot on Tuesday and it all fell apart. So there's been an 8-cent move to Iona at this -1. Let's get to the money line. I think that'll give a better example of what's happening here. We have right now Iona -114. They opened up at -109, so just a 5-cent move towards them. I imagine we're going to have no cash flow information, but we should have total information. Let's see, and we do 46% of tickets, 47% cash on the over. It's not very much help. Take it away for us here, CMAC. Metro Atlantic action in Riverdale, New York.
Yeah, Iona finally winning some basketball games. How much can you take from it? Canisius at Rider, and then they beat Siena. And they didn't cover that game. 5-point favorites, 5.5. They lose by 4 in that one. I think it's a spot for Manhattan. The smallest of dogs, that's just when I want to back them. Anytime it seems like they're a favorite, they've been the quickest of fades. Also, when I was going through this last night, this total, Manhattan's been a great over team, but Iona hasn't had a total near this. They've had like a couple 144s. So I thought it was just a little bit too high. As good as Manhattan's been going over the number, Iona's consistently stayed under this number. And maybe as it just got too high when I was going through it. So I lean under here. And Manhattan, I think they're a little bit better offensively, this Manhattan team. And I don't know what to make of this 3-game win streak of Iona, as they were just fades so bad early on to start the year. I'd be on Manhattan in this game.
Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. Iona on the 3-game winning streak.
Manhattan's only 4-4 at home. The games are tight, though. That's why they're always so good. That's why they're always so good as getting points.
Yeah. And those 2 wins, their last 2 wins at home came against the weaklings in the conference, Niagara and Fairfield, I guess, wouldn't be considered a weakling. Corey Mack in the house. Nice to see you, Corey. Chang Kim as well. Lucky Lefty, aka Sportsman of the Year, ready to rock. Send our love to Tata. Okay, so are you making Manhattan official? I find it interesting.
No. I'm gonna move on Princeton. Jimmy, I'm gonna find the best juice right now
for a full game.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it, C-Mac. I may join you here. I'll tell you what we have offshore for you here. Can everybody keep an eye on the Princeton line too? If this starts moving too much, it's come down. It's come down 4 cents. So
I think it comes back down. I mean, the threes, but
so all I can find is the plus 3.5s at minus 108.
Give me the 108.
Okay. Can anybody, if anybody sees this line moving towards Princeton, can you please let me know? Right, I want to join you, JPC. And there's Lou Chase Fox in the house. Blazers minus 12.5 at plus 1,000. God, that's spectacular work. Absolutely spectacular work. Love that. Love seeing that. Lou Chase Fox, OG low bagger, roll with us. Since I started down in Costa Rica in 2017.
Shout out.
Yeah, he's great.
Good guy.
Great guy. Okay, let's roll on to the next spot on the board here. We have 7 p.m. Eastern. Head over to the A10. Head over to St. Louis, Missouri. I was on the Billikens on Tuesday, and they won outright. Now they face the Dayton Flyers, 14-7, but just 4-4 in conference. Billikens 6-2 in conference. Can you imagine what it's going to be like on that first Thursday? The Southtown 101 for the tournament. I'm just so excited. Okay, Dayton, St. Louis. Let's set this one up. Two good basketball teams. It'll be fun to watch this conference tournament. Dayton coming off a horrific loss. I mean, this is probably so. St. Louis was coming off the loss at George Washington. Now, it wasn't horrible. They were playing VCU that was rolling. It was a really nice spot to fade VCU and back St. Louis, obviously. Here, it's probably the opposite. Now, we'll see everything, but Dayton coming off a disaster versus the Bonnies. They were 2.5-point favorites. They lose 75-53. They didn't even shoot that bad. Their defense was horrible, and the Bonnies just completely took over. Dayton scored 21 points in the second half. So this might be a flip the script. You cash with the Billikens on Tuesday, then you fade them on Friday. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have Dayton right now at this is another spot we probably should look at money line, even though the spreads come out so much earlier. So maybe Dayton opening up at +1. Then they were a favorite. They were the favorite from midnight until 9 a.m. And now we've had to move back to St. Louis. So St. Louis has had a 1-point move towards them. That doesn't concern me that much. I think I'm going to have to bet all these teams off of losses, because it's just not nothing. It's not enough correlation, and I've got to just hammer these. No, just bet one unit, obviously, but I've got to attack the board today. This total is at 145. It opened up at 144.5. We have a 0.5-point move towards the over. And then cash flow wise, let's see if we get any information. None. Just the total. 57% of tickets, 54% cash on the over. I would like to be on Dayton. Take it away, my man. Floor is yours.
Yeah, this Dayton team, I think, is a little bit better overall. I can't take them. The struggles they've had from, game to game, half to half, have been huge. Like you talked about, the 21 points that they scored. I think St. Louis is they've gotten healthy, started to play better. They have the scores, especially when they're hot. Jimerson, all these guys, Avila, Swopes, they could really put it up. And one spot where they've been really good is at home. They've been 11-1, really good all year off the big win, the VCU. But Dayton's been a team that's given them fits in the past, because Dayton's more physical. They're better defensively, and a game like this on the road that can happen, especially if St. Louis is just cold from especially outside. I think Dayton could take advantage of it. So yeah, off that loss, that bad game. They had that bad run where they lost 3 or 4, and they were playing good basketball, win 3 or 4 straight, and then just a horrible game. We see kind of revert against St. Bonaventure that last game. So I think they play better. I think if you like Dayton, look at them maybe first half. You get their best effort right away.
I agree. Look at them first half. This range, I generally double up. It's not one of those spots where I own, but I would prefer right now to be on Princeton first half full game, Georgetown first half full game, Dayton first half full game. But investing that much makes me extremely uncomfortable here.
Yeah.
Johnny Gunn says over the last 5 games, Dayton's averaging 1 point per possession with 67 possessions per game. St. Louis averaging 0.91 per possession with 70 possessions a game. Under, says Johnny Guns. That's very interesting. I want Dayton.
St. Louis been great under team this year, especially when they've had real high totals in some of these games, in the 150s.
They play tough. There's no doubt about it. They play tough. We have action coming in here from Chapiadora Strategic Investments. Our guy Chapiadora played today on Siena plus 5.5. So let's roll here. Put the fries in the bag. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. But let's not say anything negative about other cappers. Let's just focus on the capping. And if we don't have anything nice to say, I know it's like some of you say that I don't need to talk like a parent. But let's just focus on the capping. And thank you. Okay, let's roll on. We go back to the Ivy League and. Oh no. Okay, we'll wait till I guess we're having some camera issues here from our guest spot coming up. So when I see the camera good to go, message me. When I see the camera good to go, we'll bring on our guest. Let's set this up. 7 p.m. Eastern. Brown Bears 9-8, 1-3 in the Ivy League at the Pennsylvania Quakers 6-11, 2-2 in conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for this one. Let's get this all set up here for this one. We have Brown right now, and we're going to hear I think he's just restarting his computer, so we're going to get it. Look, but we'll hear from CMAC first. Brown's lost 3 of their last 4. The last 2 games, they win at Cornell 83-82 and then lose at home to Dartmouth 84-83. These are very, very, very close basketball games. Pennsylvania has won 2 straight. Now they beat up on Harvard. It seems like something everybody is doing. And then they win at home over Columbia. And this is now Columbia's opened the conference 0-4, but this is a better Columbia team than I've been used to. They were better last year too, but they were just the dregs of the conference for a while. Let's get into the line history here for this Brown Pennsylvania spot. This totals at 144, slightly juiced to the over. This opened at 145.5. We've dropped 1.5 points down to 144. Let's get to the spread here for this spot. We have Brown plus 1.5 minus 109. They've gone from favorite to dog, and that happened at 9:59 p.m. last night. So that's a 3-point move at 9:59 p.m. last night. A pretty fascinating spot. We're not going to get cash flow information on this spot, but I can tell you that 56% tickets, 55% cash on the over. Let's bring on our guest here on Fridays. He's got 3 best bets. This is the first one. He's going to come back for Akron, Kent State, and St. Peter's Rider as well. Please welcome our friend Morgan Spooner to the telecast. Spoondog, what's good, man? How are you?
Hey, what's good, Jimmy? How you doing? I hope we're starting off a good betting day for you today and good betting weekend for everyone.
Oh, well
this is my favorite pick on the board today. Brown money line. I got it at plus 105 in the middle of the night. I think it's still there at plus money at some books. It's right there around even. Like you said, Penn's coming in pretty hot, and Brown's off a win as well. If you look at both of these basketball teams, nothing that's going to be in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. They're not great teams. But they're 2 conference rivals. And beyond that, these are 2 coaches that have known each other for a very long time. Mike Martin played for this Brown team in 2000 for 4 years. He was a starter. He actually never lost a game against Steve Donahue, who was coaching Cornell at the time. Over the past 25 years, Mike Martin's been in the Ivy League the entire time. He was an assistant coach here at Penn for 6 years. And I really think that makes him look at this game differently than most games. He's got this circled on his calendar. He's got the boys rallied, as you want to say. If you look at some of the big wins they have in Vermont and Bryant and Rhode Island, those are teams that are way better than some of their Ivy League opponents. And going into Burlington, Vermont is one of the toughest wins in mid-major basketball. And just walking out of there with a win like that shows me that when they prep and have a game circled, they can show up and win. Especially when I get a chance to fade Penn off 2 wins in a row. That Columbia team is really good, but I think Brown's got a good shot here. If you look over the past 5 years, Brown has 2 wins on this floor here in Philadelphia. One of the oldest courts in college basketball. It has more games played here than anywhere else. That's my pick for the day here, Jimmy. What do you think?
I get it. Let's hear what CMAC has to say about it. I mean, the market move intimidates me. Now, you are basing your action on X's and O's, and then therefore you can stand, in front of a market move like that. I'm very hesitant to do that. Now, it is slightly coming back to the Brown Bears. Let's hear what CMAC has to say. More Ivy League action for us, CMAC. Bears, Quakers.
Yeah, what it comes down to, I think Brown, to me, is the better basketball team. They've struggled after having those key wins like you talked about. I think they're just flat better. They're a better shooting team. Both these teams are good defensively. When I looked at this total, this wasn't over for me. I didn't dig through it a ton, but I think we get points. The one thing is why I like Brown so much in this game is because of fading Penn off their best shooting night that they've had in that game. I mean, they shot, how many threes did they make? 18 threes. They shot 51%. They shot over 50% from the field for sure. They were good from the free throw line in that game. They're a team that just doesn't win 3 games consistently. I'm a little surprised it's moved to them as well. Yeah, I agree here. I think it's Brown or nothing. I like the over better.
You like the over better? Okay. CMAC looking at the over. Morgan Spooner on Brown. I mean, the breakdown makes a ton of sense here. Absolute ton of sense. I like it. Brown plus 105 for Morgan Spooner. Morgan coming back for a couple spots here a little bit later in the card. Morgan, I love it. Morgan's on the board with Brown plus 105. And Morgan, we will see you again here in a few short minutes.
Sounds good, Jimmy. See you.
So next up for us, we stay in the Ivy League. And we talk Harvard Crimson. They have not looked good. 6-11, 1-3 in conference at the Columbia Lions, who looked like they were a good basketball team until we got into conference play, and they started getting beaten badly. Harvard has lost 2 straight games. Now, they did win at Brown 80-67 before these losses, and they only lost 68-64 at home to Princeton. I mean, they've been playing pretty good ball, but, I mean, this is a Harvard team that played the, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Bowdoin Polar Bears, a Div 3 school, and barely beat them. They were down 41-32 at the half. Now, I mean, obviously they weren't taking it seriously because it wasn't a Div 1 school, but ugly. So here we go. We have Columbia in the throes of this losing streak. It's been ugly. They were playing, I mean, they were just looking so good. Now, it was against weak competition, obviously. I mean, I'm not talking about them beating Sarah Lawrence, whatever school that is, or Merchant Marine Academy, but they were rolling. I mean, they opened up the year with 8 straight wins versus Div 1 competition. Now, they lose badly at Rutgers, and then it just kind of flows from there. They lose at home to Cornell, at home to Yale. That was a close one, only losing by 4. Only losing by 4 at Princeton, and then go to the Quakers. And as you were talking about, Pennsylvania shot very well, and they lost. So this is an interesting spot. Columbia in the throes of a losing streak. Harvard's lost 2 of 3. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Columbia -3 at -112. They opened up at -5. So we've had a 2-point move to the Crimson. When we get to the total in this one, we have when we get to the total in this one, we have a 146.5 juice to the over. I see a lot of 147s. There's even a 148 and a 148.5. I don't know if it's stale line. But this is dropped from 148.5. This was 148.5 13 minutes ago, so it's not a stale line. This has moved 2 points to the under in the last 13 minutes. Cash flow, I imagine we're not going to get any information, but let's see if we do. There's some games where we do. Oh, no, just total, and it's 50-50. Take it away for us here, CMAC. An interesting one, Harvard, Columbia.
Yeah, this is two bad teams. When I look at this, on that total is you think over, but if Harvard's going to be in this game, that brings it to the under. I think that's why this come down. That's why I think they're live here in this one. A team that's been fucking awful. It's been one of the worst Harvard teams, at least the last 10 years that I can remember. They have not been good. At Columbia, I don't think this team should be laying anything. A hot start that they had, what it was. I mean, this team's lost 6 in a row. They're so bad defensively. Can Harvard be better? Of course, they play a team like Yale, one of the better teams in the conference. They only score 55 points. I think they'll have more success here today. We've seen them go on the road and beat Iona, beat Brown before that. I think they have success here against this bad team that doesn't play much defense in Columbia, even how slow and bad Harvard could be. So I like them here. I think they are live. They have beat Columbia too consistently. I'm sure Columbia knows that. 10 straight. And a lot of those games, they're the favorite, Jimmy. In all those years where they were a better basketball team. But 4 is too many. Give me Harvard +4.
Harvard +4. What juice are you seeing?
Let me see, because there's 3.5s.
Yeah.
Going around. So I want to grab it.
Yeah, I get it. Let me see what we can get here for you on the Crimson. No, isn't Will Hill hanging a legit? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that, but there's a few. Yeah, so I get you +4 -108. You are in business here. CMAC moving on the Crimson. Okay, I'm a little uncomfortable. I get it, the market and everything. I completely get it, but I'm going to stay off of this bum fight. Usually I love bum fights, but this one I'm a little nervous about picking a side. Let's roll on. Let's talk about Big Green and Big Red in Ithaca, New York for our next spot. Dartmouth 8-9, 2-2 in conference. Going up against Cornell 11-6, 3-1 in conference. We are in Newman Arena for this spot. Let's get this one set up and hear what CMAC has to say, and then Morgan Spooner will be back in business with us here on the next spot. Dartmouth bounced back after 2 losses, winning at Brown 84-83 on Saturday. It was a nice performance. They were 5.5-point dogs. They shot 55.6% from 3, numbers that we don't believe they can sustain. Then we have Cornell. They lost by a point at home to Brown, and they bounced back and beat Princeton in impressive fashion. They beat Princeton 85-76 on the road as 3.5-point dogs. Princeton shot poorly in that game, but Cornell showed that they're a good basketball team. Billy Friedrich says take those points with Dartmouth, and Rogue Energy says Dartmouth with the money bag sign. Kelly McKinnon says lipstick remains in the pocket. Yes, it does. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. Do you want any team in the Ivy League as a double-digit favorite? Cornell -10.5. There's been no movement on the 10.5. It's just sitting there. On the total for this one, we have a 164.5 juice to the over. This opened up at 163, so it's gone up 1.5 points. And I imagine that we'll have no cash flow information. Let me just quickly double check. Oh, we do. We have everything. So 45% of the tickets and 51% of the cash is on Cornell. This is a interesting spot. 50-50 action on the spread, 50-50 action on the total, 50% of tickets, 55% cash on the over. I imagine nobody wants a double-digit favorite in the Ivy League. Is it as simple as that? C-Mac, take it away.
I think so. I mean, I don't think you really love laying points. It's tough for me with a team that doesn't play defense like Cornell to lay points with them. And it's they beat teams like Cal, stuff like that. But they're dogs in those games. Now they're a huge favorite in these, and they don't. Dartmouth's a team that can hang around and score. This team all year has been pretty good. This team too has been great against the number as well. 10-5 in this one. I think we get points. This game class seems like it's going to be just right there in the 80s. I don't know if it gets over this number, but there should be plenty of points. So I think Dartmouth has. And one thing you look for, at least with these teams like Dartmouth, is they've covered numbers on the road. At least, you know, they just get their ass blown out on the road. So they've been better there. So, yeah, I think this is Dartmouth here or nothing.
I get it completely, but I can't back a team after shooting 55% from three. I just can't expect that to happen again. And then I'm with you. I don't want Cornell as that big of a favorite. So shout out to the Sweaty Butcher, now a PSR Gold member. He's racing. I like those camel races, but we'll see if Jose wants to go with horses or greyhounds. And he's also delivered the prime cut. It is 76ers plus 9.5 is the prime cut from the Sweaty Butcher, now a PSR Gold member. Coin saying Cornell 0-2 as double-digit favorites. And we already heard the success of Dartmouth as double-digit dogs. Coin saying they've covered 4 straight. Lynn Belvedere in the house. Lynn, I'm falling apart in NBA. I'm crumbling in NBA. Going to need some guidance from the chat here to get me out of this horrific losing streak over the last 48 hours. That's just driving me crazy. I don't want anything to do with Big Green, Big Red here. And if I can continue to cut these games, then I maybe can double down on those spots that we were talking about. So let's bring Morgan Spooner back for our next spot. We have Maction here, Morgan, and you know these two teams very well. We lost with Kent State last week. We got the money back in their last game. I only took them first half. I should have taken them full game. It was a smash and grab. You get a sense when these teams are extremely angry, like a powder keg about to burst. And that's, you talked about the coach's decisions with Kent State in the game where we lost, keeping the starters on the bench, and then they just explode in their next spot. Two good teams, but one's 8-0 in the MAC. Kent State's just 4-4. These teams have a rich history of facing each other. Let's set this one up for Morgan and CMAC here. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Akron, Kent State. We have Akron right now coming in off another win at Northern Illinois, 80-70. This team is putting together a nice looking winning streak. Now, this is the first time they're playing Kent State. They play them again on Saturday, March 1st. So first time they're playing them. But this is a team that has now won 8 straight basketball games, stepping up and looking good right now. Kent State, on the other hand, as I said, they won 75-57 at home over Bowling Green. Bowling Green is bad, 2-6 in conference, and they were ready to go after that 61-59 loss at the Bobcats. So here we go. Let's set up the line history for this spot. We'll start with the total, see if we have any cash flow, and hear from our cappers. This total 143.5. It's 143.5. I've opened up a 144.5, so we've dropped 1 point on the point spread. We have Kent State -3. This line is moving towards them, opening up at -1.5, now -3. That is extremely telling, isn't it? Team that's 4-4 in conference, and the line moving that quickly towards them. Extremely telling. Let's see if we get any cash flow information here for this one. And we do.
Can you bounce me real quick, Jimmy? I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, my man. Sure. Yeah. Morgan, just 24% of tickets and 39% of cash on Kent State. I mean, now
That's
we have
telling.
where everything correlates. Take it away.
All right. So one thing you didn't mention here is this is a rematch from last year's MAC championship.
Oh, yeah.
Kent State lost by 1 point in that game, and they really fumbled the bag right at the end. They Jared Sullinger takes a shot with about 7 seconds left, misses it. Hornbeak comes off the glass, hits it, puts it back in with less than 4 seconds left. All they have to do is not foul and not give up a buzzer beater, and they intentionally foul on the inbound because the guy didn't realize the score. It was terrible. You see the coach put his hands in his head. It was tough. Just one of those spots you don't want to be on. So another circled spot for the coach. You lose the MAC championship like that. That's terrible. Another thing is Akron and Kent, these campuses are right next to each other. less than 15 miles separate these guys. After the game last year, they were putting out rap songs, hating against each other. This is a real rivalry. They don't like each other, and I think Kent State's favored for a reason. I tweeted it out at -120. I like the money line more than points, but I think Kent State's really going to step up tonight. I watch a lot of basketball, and they remind me of Michigan State in a way. They make games sloppy. They don't hit a lot of shots, but they play basketball well. They have long players. They get rebounds. They play really good defense, and they keep themselves in every game. If they have a bad day and accidentally start making shots, this game could be a blowout by 20. Kent State does not make 3-point shots. That's not their strength, but their strength is defending the 3-point shot. And Akron hasn't played a defense like Kent State yet this year. This is going to be a step-up game for Kent State, and they already have the number 1 ranked 3-point defense in the MAC. I think this is playoff atmosphere. It'll be very fun building. I guarantee you can't get a seat in there right now. Should be fun.
And what was your bet on this one?
I tweeted out at -120, just the money line. That was available all over the place last night. You just said -3. That's wild. I hadn't seen a number since earlier this morning, but I hadn't seen anything past -2.
I get it.
Another thing about that is this is same core group of guys. Solinger, Davis, Hornbeak, they're all back. And they added some other good players from the MAC, Marquise Barnett, Morgan Safford. This is a good group of guys, all Ohio guys. This means a lot to them right here. Akron's coming in undefeated. They don't want Akron to leave undefeated. That's 15 miles away. They got to hear about it all the time.
This is moving, as they said. This is the Princeton line is moving. I love Kent State. I'm going to bet it right now. This is a great look. I wish I got the line you got, but I'm going to take the risk at the -3 here. C-Mac, what do you think of this spot? Akron, Kent State.
Yeah, I think this is a game. It all depends who dictates the pace here in this basketball game. I've seen it in the last few years with these two. Can Akron, get their shots off and go at the pace they wanted, which is very, very quick. They're a top 20 team in the country. They score a ton of points. But this Kent State completely different. They want to slow it down just to a crawl. They don't have the best scores, especially this year. I mean, we've seen this a few times with this team. But, man, they have struggled this year. But their defense is how they've gotten it done, even the last few. I agree with this move. I worried that, I don't know, they have a good shooting night, and it seems like there's good for an over. Because this is an under here, nothing for me in this game. This has already trickled down a little bit. How can you not? I think if you like Kent State, you think they hold this team's points, team total under, right?
What do you think about this total, Morgan?
I try to avoid totals in college basketball. That's just to sweat the entire game. It makes you go nuts. So if you're breaking it down possession by possession, you're looking at Kent State not being a good shooting team. I understand the idea of an under, and you have a team that's going to play really good defense. I don't know what happens if Kent State comes out hot and Akron continues to have the best offense in the MAC. They start matching baskets because Kent State wants to play there. I'd get really annoyed at that over because at the end of the game, I think this could come down to Kent State pulling down a few more rebounds in the last 5 minutes and just walking away with the game. Akron being frustrated on the sidelines.
Well, I'm joining you. So I just bet Princeton first half full game +1.5 +3.5, and I just bet Kent State full game. So I'm all in here for this spot. Let me just get this here. I gotta tweet it out. I'll tweet it out here in a second. So I'm in. Thank you to Stephen Miller for letting me know, because that the 3.5 just moved to 3. Offshore, I just bet it at 365. It hadn't moved yet. So I am in business here. So I'm going to move on to the -3. We'll tweet it out. And then we have Morgan, who got that -120. Excellent work there on the money line for Kent. state from our guy Morgan Spooner. Anything you want to add, C-Mac, to this one, or do we move on?
Let's move on. I don't know if I want to move on this under, but that's where I'd be. I need to look at this game a little more.
All right. Our guy Morgan Spooner going to be back with us here in a couple games. So Spoondog, we will see you here shortly. Let's roll on. C-Mac next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern with the Fairfield Stags, 8-12, 4-5 in the Metro Atlantic. At the Quinnipiac Bobcats, 12-8, 8-1 in the Metro Atlantic. We're at M&T Bank Center in Hamden, Connecticut, here, home of the Bobcats. Let's get into the line history here. Quinnipiac, 12.5-point favorites. Wild. Open up at 11.5, now 12.5. When you get to the total here for this one, we have a 145.5 at a pick'em. This opened up at 144, so we've gone up 1.5. Cash flow information. I wonder if we get any. Let's see. Do we? And we do. 60% of the tickets on the Bobcats and 84% of the cash. 53 and 54 on the over. This one is fascinating. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Does anybody want a double-digit favorite in the Metro Atlantic?
No fucking way. No way, no how. Even how good I think they've been at home, if you lay points to them, even how red hot they are, they did not get done. Just in their last game against one of the worst teams this year, Jimmy and Ryder. I mean, they've been awful. It was barely by a half point, but they don't get it done. They've been pretty good on short numbers. I've took them at home a few times this year. But I think Fairfield, after that horrible game, and how bad did they shoot this here in this game against Merrimack? I wanted to double check that. Merrimack, I know, shot the ball well.
They shot 33.3 from the field and 18.2% from three.
Yeah, I think they shoot the ball better. This team isn't very good, Fairfield. They're not good offensively. But with both these teams, they're not good. I mean, I just don't think there's a 12-point difference. And same thing here. We're just going to see sloppy play up and down. The only thing that's got me is this full game the last few days. I kind of want to go first half, but I think the points are what I have to take here with Fairfield.
Do you want, this line's moving towards Quinnipiac right now. Do you feel like...
Yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah. I'm interested in doing the exact same thing, but it will be a first half only bet for me on Fairfield. But I'm going to do the same and wait. Let me just get this set up here and done. All right, so I'm in business. All right, great stuff. Okay, this card's coming together here. I said that I was going to stay away from the double up spots. I will try to. Boxing First Vlog BFF lottery play of the day is Fairfield Moneyline. I'd like to get involved with Fairfield. I'm curious to see what happens to the market here. And then going over how my card is going to shape up then. So Princeton first half full game, I can leave everything else. I think just full game, right? Then it would be Georgetown, Dayton. I've already moved on Kent State, then it'd be Fairfield first half. Okay, my card is coming together and I like it. Okay, let's roll on. Let's roll. I now thinking, going back to what I did with Princeton, I almost wish whatever. We'll see how it bangs out. Double up to start the day. It's with the way I've been rolling, does not feel very good. But let's keep rolling. We move to Hamel Court, North Andover, Massachusetts. Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers 11-9, 4-5 in the Metro Atlantic. The Merrimack Warriors 11-9, 8-1 in conference. Now they lost at Quinnipiac 81-76 back on the 16th of January. They've won 3 straight since then. They're coming off that game we just spoke about, beating up on Fairfield 75-54. Mount St. Mary's has lost 4 straight basketball games. They look pretty good to start the year. They lose 66-60 at Ryder. They get destroyed at home by Quinnipiac. And there's no bounce back against Siena. They lose 82-68 there. Siena's not that good. And then they lose by 10 versus Manhattan. Is this like trying to catch a falling knife here? Trying to figure out when should you back Mount St. Mary's. This total is 131.5. It opened up 131.5. It got up to 133.5 at 5 a.m. And now it's back at 131.5. So we've had a slight move towards the under now, juice wise. And then on the spread, we have Mount St. Mary's plus 7.5. I see some 7.5s. I see some 8s. This opened up at 8.5. It's dropped a point to 7.5. The market saying that Mount St. Mary's is live in this one, which is a bit of a surprise. Let's get the cash. See if we get cash flow. We don't. Just 61% ticket, 64% cash on the over. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. Mountaineers, Warriors.
I think they are live. It's just this basketball team was just totally different from how well they played early on. They've just been losers and not even covering numbers of late. Some of these games are close. Some of them they're getting blown out. And the defense has just gone out the window. It just seems like it's one of the worst teams defensively. Merrimack is better. When Merrimack's laying this number, it's just no fucking way. And after that shooting performance that they just had, that we just talked about in that game, that we know who Merrimack is, one of the slowest teams in the country. They're not big. They're not the best team. They hold the ball the whole shot clock. So I lead under. You're not getting a bargain, I don't think, at this number, 131. But I lean under in Mount St. Mary's. There's just no way. The slide has been rough. Because I was so shocked how well they played early on when they were 11-4 at one point, I think, or 10-4, because they've gone 1-5 the last 6. So, what do you want to roll with there? It's kind of the decision here.
Yeah,
the falling knife, as you talked about.
The market is pretty bullish that Merrimack should not be this big of a favorite.
Yeah,
I would certainly love to see some cash flow information, but. I'm fine. I think I'm fine with just. I mean, if you were going to back, this is certainly not a double up spot. If you're going to back Mount St. Mary's, would you be looking at first half or full game?
I don't know. I have to look at it more. I have to go into their first half numbers a little bit.
I expect to be on Mount St. Mary's here uncomfortably, but I agree with it. They're coming off that beatdown of. A Fairfield, Merrimack, I'm talking about.
In Manhattan, losing by 10.
Mount St. Mary's looks bad. 4 straight games. I wonder if I'm being too cute now. I'm going to put a couple question marks beside it, and we'll hammer it again here as soon as the show ends. Let's bring on back our guy Morgan Spooner. This is the third of a trio of action for Spoon Dog. And we're talking Peacock basketball here. St. Peter's Peacock 7-9, 2-6 in the Metro Atlantic. Ryder Bronx 7-13, 3-6 in the Metro Atlantic. The St. Peter's Peacocks have now not played in 8 days. They played on Thursday, and it was a week Thursday, so 8 days ago, and it was one of the ugliest games you'll ever see. Merrimack won 48-37. St. Peter's was held to 10 points in the second half of that basketball game. Shot 24.1 from the field and 20.8 from 3. We're talking about a college basketball game where 85 points were scored in the game, 34 points in the second half. Ryder coming off back-to-back losses. They lose at home to Iona, 73-67, and then they lose at Quinnipiac, and they played pretty well against Quinnipiac. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. We have St. Peter's right now -1 and -108. This line is not moved. It came out at 6:12 p.m. I mean, it moved. There was some juice that added to St. Peter's, but it's come back. From a total scenario here, we have a 124.5. This opened up at 123. It just climbed to 124.5 at 12:05 p.m. And when we get to the cash flow for this spot, I think I saw that we have it in the St. Peter's game. Let me just get there. And we don't. Just total 74% of tickets, 74% of cash on the over, and it's climbing. Take it away, Spoon Dog. Best bet number 3 for you in Peacock's Bronx action in Lawrenceville, New Jersey.
Well, like always, you got to throw away what you just saw. Recency bias is not going to get you anywhere with betting, and St. Peter's did look terrible in that last game. I heard you talking about Merrimack. They run a weird zone defense that a lot of teams don't see. It's from the top levels of D2 where it's a lot more commonly run. They They're a run and gun team. They use that zone to put on pressure that most teams can't handle. St. Peter's is a great shooting team. They're long in the middle. I think Mount St. Mary's and St. Peter's are kind of built similarly. They will. They don't have good mid-range jump shooters to handle that zone. They have a few big guys, but they're not big guys that can spread out, cause spacing, and get open shots. I wouldn't be on. I like Mount St. Mary's a lot. I wouldn't be on them today. St. Peter's here versus Ryder. They're not seeing that same defense. Ryder's defense is terrible in consideration. It's a man-to-man that they'll take, and St. Peter's has a lot of longer, stronger athletes. If you look at the metrics, Ken Palm's going to have a lot of red on St. Peter's. It's going to be hard to look at and say, I want to bet a team that has the lowest effective field goal percentage and the highest turnover percentage. But what you don't see with that is that St. Peter's is banged up a lot of the year. They're learning to play together still, and I think they're coming together at the right time. They got a good coach in Bashir Mason. He's from the Hurley coaching tree. He has a rest advantage coming into this game, so they've had time to prep for Ryder, run everything. Ryder's not a great team. They played all right against Iona and Quinnipiac, and they got a couple wins, but St. Peter's needs a win here. They're reeling in the middle of the season, and I think this is a nice, easy one they can get. I like this quite a bit, just on the money line. I don't know if it's moved at all.
It really hasn't. And what did you get on the money line?
I believe I got -110. I'm not looking at it at the moment, but I tweeted it out on X.
Excellent work. Let's hear what CMAC has to say. I'm very interested in joining you. And I forgot, Pig Milk play today, which I believe is cashed 7 straight, is St. Peter's -1. Pig Milk play today, St. Peter's -1. We have the corner of Pig Milk and Spooner Boulevard. Take it away. That works, eh? Doesn't that work? I like that place. Pick up some rock over there. Take it away, CMAC. Your thoughts here on this one. Peacocks Bronx in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, I think the Peacocks are the better basketball team here for sure. When I look at this as well, I know this total's low, but I think it goes the under. While the number from threes, all right, St. Peter's, this team's still not good offensively, but maybe they can take advantage of such a bad Ryder defense. And I think they can. They're just a little bit. I thought Ryder, for how bad they've been, they've played a little bit better lately. I mean, a 3-game win streak before those couple losses. But they've been dog shit at home. I mean, 1-5, this Ryder team. I couldn't back them. So I agree here. I think it's St. Peter's or nothing.
What do you think of the...
It'd be a grinded out game.
What do you think of St. Peter's team total over? Because, I mean, are we concerned because I think St. Peter's bounces back 8 days off of that horrible, horrible situation. And I don't want to convolute my action, but the 62 or 62 and a half, 62 and a half here at 365. I mean, because I can understand being uncomfortable betting the over here. The 61 and a half, I think that St. Peter's is the play here. I think the market's indicating that it's the play. The 61 and a half here offshore, the sharp book is -127 to the over. I mean, very expensive. Let's hear from you, C-Mac, and then from Spooner. What do you think of that team total over?
Yeah, after how bad they played. I mean, they're just two teams that are kind of, we've seen it year in, year out, that played to the under in that game. I mean, 48-37. 40-8-37 final score. Great. So I think, and when you looked at their games, though, they still can struggle to get to this number at times. Can't St. Peter's, but I think they could get over here today, at least get in the mid-60s.
Spoondog, what do you think of the team total over, or are you thinking that the X's and O's here are more about St. Peter's defense locking down Ryder, or do you think it's about bounce back offensively?
So if you're looking at a team that is ranked last in the MAAC in every offensive statistic category and trying to bet over it, I would imagine you're thinking regression is going to hit and they can't be that bad the entire season. And I understand that, and I like that. I think one of the things that really benefits St. Peter's in this ball game is their tenacity on their boards. I don't know how many possessions really come out of this game. Both of these teams take shots like 20 seconds into the shot clock. That shot's not necessarily a great shot, and it's probably going to bounce off the board. What I'm hoping a lot is that St. Peter's is going to grab that ball and then put it back up, and hopefully that shot goes in. The being last in the MAAC in every offensive category, I really like trying to take an over with that team, because Vegas is trying to get money from everybody but that person, because whoever's trying to bet money on that is clearly not sane in the head. So I like that look a lot.
That's a funny angle. I like it too. My card's coming together, and it's going to be a very, I don't know how you do anything else, honestly. Like, how do you go without action? I was talking about recently on the show a few weeks ago that when I take a day off, I kind of lose that edge of fire away, because it's last 48 hours are bad, and I don't want to reach too much, but I like both of those spots. I'm going to rock with St. Peter's on the money line. Like Morgan, Morgan is on St. Peter's on the money line, and I'm also going to move on that team total over 62.5, because my fear is of a 63-57 final score. I mean, it goes under by 5 points, but St. Peter's covers the over. We see the market moving towards the over. In top set for me, that is the top set that, what C-Mac and I were talking about was they just shot 24 from the field and 20 from three and put up 37 points. They've had 8 days to sit in that. I think St. Peter's takes care of business here, and I, instead of doing the first half,
not only 8 days to sit with that, Hurley is insane. If we're talking about basketball coaches, like on the sidelines, if you're technical per minutes in a game, he's got to be towards the top of basketball coaches all time. So anybody that's worked on his staff for a long amount of time, that's clearly rubbed off on him. So I'm sure St. Peter's practices have been very rough for the past week. I think this is a really great spot to get in on him. You get to focus in on that. Nobody wants to stew in the worst game you could have for that long. It makes it really bad.
I love it. We got Morgan Spooner's trio of action. Brown plus 105, St. Peter's minus 110, Kent minus 120, all tweeted out here. Now Top Set says, like Dutch says, backwood that shit. What I say is get out that lipstick, put it right on that pig's lips, and let's go fucking party. That's what I say.
When I bet that, I was thinking of Patrick Corbin for some reason last night. I know we're not at baseball season yet, but it really felt like trying to take a Patrick Corbin first 5 under. There's spots to do it.
That cost me a lot of money last year. I love it. Morgan, thank you so much for rocking with us. The Spoon Dog in the house.
Jimmy, one look for tomorrow. There's a huge Saturday card. If you're trying to look through this and go through all the teams, regression hits everywhere. And one thing, we're at a sweet spot in the NCAA season where teams are in the middle of their conference schedule. Some of these teams have played easier teams in their conference. Some of these teams haven't had to go on the road. You look at the Big Ten. Some of these teams haven't had to go fly out west yet. And you look at their conference strength of schedule, you can find some teams that have played the hardest schedule, and then they're going to be playing versus the easiest schedule. And you're going to have a chance to really regress, take advantage of that. It's going to be 5, 6, 7 different spots tomorrow where you're seeing a team that's played the 13th hardest schedule versus the team that's played the first or second. And your opponents matter a lot in college basketball. This isn't like the NBA where there's 30 teams and everybody knows everybody, and this is a good team and this is a bad team. The strength of schedule is a lot. You're going to get some really good opportunities tomorrow to take advantage of teams that have been beat up by good teams already, and they're trying to smack a bad team. Have a good weekend, everybody. Let's get this money, Jimmy. Let's win it.
I love it. There he is, Morgan Spooner in the house. I popped his X handle in the chat. Please click on it and follow our guy, Morgan Spooner. Some great insights. It was fun having him drop in with some best bets here. Let's roll on. We have 3 games left here on college basketball before we get in the NBA. And I like that. I like hearing that, Nutflush. I like hearing that. We have 3 games left in college basketball, and the third of the 3 games is the Stacks play of the day, and we're watching Stacks heat up here. So let's roll, C-Mac, my man. We have we stay in the Metro Atlantic. Niagara Purple Eagles 7-13, 2-7 in conference at the Canisius Golden Griffins 2-18, 2-7 in conference. Now we have taken that lipstick, put it all over this Canisius Golden Griffin pig's lips a couple times and being successful. We're in Buffalo, New York for this. I want to go see a Canisius Golden Griffin game. These Niagara Purple Eagles have lost 5 straight. They've lost 6 of 7. Their lone win coming at home on January 10th versus St. Peter's. Coming off an ugly loss at home to Sacred Heart. Now, I guess ugly is probably the wrong word. I mean, but Niagara was 1.5-point favorites. They shot the ball well enough to win, 47.5 from the field, 41.2 from 3. Just Sacred Heart shot that much better than them. Niagara now at the bottom of the ledger with Canisius. These are the two lowest teams in conference here. So let's set this one up on the other side. Let's get these Golden Griffins up. They did win at Fairfield 78-67, but they've lost twice in a row. Both teams have similar opponents. They just, Wednesday of last week and then Friday of last week. So Wednesday of last week, Niagara lost 67-65 at home to Marist. 2 days after that, Canisius lost at home to Marist by 23 points. 70-47. I mean, it's like Canisius keeps hitting new lows. That was the new low this year, what we just saw Canisius go through. I mean, is Canisius as bad as they looked against Marist? I mean, they were 8.5-point dogs. They shot 29.8% from the field, and they got out-rebounded 42-23. I mean, you're just going to lose every single one of those games if you can't rebound. And it's every game. Look at Sacred Heart. They got out-rebounded 40-25. So I guess the first question then, C-Mac, is Niagara the type of team that can, dominate the boards? Because Niagara got slightly beaten on the boards by Sacred Heart. So I think that for an X's and O's thing, that is the first thing I would like to hear from you, is if this is just going to be another board debacle. When we get to the line history here for this one, this totals at a 137 at a pick'em. Opened up at 137.5, now at 137. When we get to the point spread here, we have Canisius plus 3.5. It's juiced to them. This opened up at 4. We have a half-point move towards the Golden Griffins. I mean, I can imagine nobody wanting to bet Canisius. So when the line moves towards them, you would think that would be sharp action. We have no help in the cash flow. 58% of tickets, 59% cash on the over here in this one. Take it away. By the way, we're starting to get some cash information trickling in on games that we didn't have it on. So we do know now that in that St. Mary's Merrimack spot, it's a 50-50. 50% of tickets, 49% of the cash. It's moving slightly towards St. Mary's. That's helpful. The Quinnipiac Fairfield, we're getting information on that one now. 60% of the tickets, 79% of the cash was on Quinnipiac. Cornell Dartmouth, another spot, just 53 and 49 on Dartmouth. So we're starting to get some information on spreads, which is helpful. Very helpful. Take it away for us, C-Mac. Interested in this one, of course. Purple Eagles, Golden Griffins.
Yeah, because I think this is a gettable game. I mean, flat out, with how bad Niagara is. They've been that bad on the road. And you want to talk about the rebounding. I don't know if you get as bad as him, but Niagara's dog shit too. I think they're 281, 282 here. They've been on both sides of the boards, Jimmy. There's teams, in this conference you move up that there's a few of them in the top 50, but not these two. So maybe they just don't get destroyed. You know what makes me lead to this? After how bad they shot the ball, I thought this total was way too fucking low. I'm a little surprised that this wasn't like 140. Both these teams, for the most part, have gone over, especially when Canisius can shoot the ball. And I kind of want them after that horrible game where they scored 47 points. If they get the free throw line, they're good. They do shoot the three. I mean, they shoot a ton of them. Okay. These teams are bad defensively. I mean, awful. I thought this was light, especially if Canisius just gets to the 65. I think they get more set. Like, this goes over because I think Niagara does their fair share here as well. As we see, not many of these totals have been there. Ryder, it stayed under. There have been a couple, but 10-9 to the over for Niagara. I'll go to this over. I think Kanishka's going to hang around. I can't back this team from half to half. Yeah, I know you said maybe first half again, because this is a team like you talked about who they played. Like, we can get this game. We're going to the gym where we play with these guys. So I think that's where you can look at them, hang around. And I love this. I like it too. I don't want to look at more like just the fouling between these two teams, stuff like that. See how much they're going to the line. With this over, they don't shoot a ton. Both these teams, a game.
So you would prefer the full game over a 137 flat than Canisius team total over 67?
Yes.
Do you want both teams involved?
Yeah, I want both teams involved just because I've seen so much of Canisius. Yeah.
I find it interesting. I'm going to be on Canisius. I'm going to be on the Golden Griffins here at +3.5 full game. Like we talked about, and you brought it up, it's so important for these teams that are so bad to come to the gym and go, oh, we got a chance tonight, boys. We got a chance tonight. We're not just going to the slaughter. I like it. Canisius. My card's going to be massive now. God damn, I like it. I love these 14-game slates on a Friday where you don't miss anything. I hate when you're like, oh, God, that game looks perfect, but there's still, I like it. Okay, we got a big one coming up in the Big Ten. A big one. The big one on tonight's card. Let's set this one up 8 p.m. Eastern with the Indiana Hoosiers, 14-7, 5-5 in the Big Ten. The Purdue Boilermakers, 16-5, 8-2 in the Big Ten. Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. Indiana has lost 2 straight basketball games. They lost 79-70 at Northwestern, and then coming off that home loss to Maryland, 79-78. Indiana was 2.5-point dogs. They played quite well and clean, and there was a tough loss, tough last-minute loss here for the Hoosiers. They play this first time they're meeting Purdue. They play them again on February 23rd. So we don't have anything to go by. But Hoosiers have lost 4 or 5. And don't look like they're going to be in the tournament. Purdue bounced back from that home loss to Ohio State by destroying Michigan at home last Friday, 91-64. They were up 51-26 at the half. They shot 54.8 from the field. Michigan turned the ball over 22 times, while Purdue turned the ball over 6 times. And it was an absolute debacle for the Wolverines. Wonder if this is a bad spot. Interesting coin. And then in now. Let's get into the line history and take a look at the cash flow. We'll get all of that information. This total is at 144.5. I see 145.5 and 146s. This just dropped to 144.5 21 minutes ago, and the other books haven't followed suit. So the sharpest offshore has moved it down while the others have not. If you are interested in the under, you would bet it right now. Indiana +12 at -111. This has moved 3 cents towards them at this number. Fascinating. If all the money is on Purdue, I'm going to be on Indiana first half in this one. Let's see. No, that's not the case. In fact, Indiana is somewhat public with 5,927 tickets and 56% of the tickets on Indiana and 31% of the cash. I imagine that will change as the public starts rolling in. 51% of tickets, 46% cash on the over. The big one, C-Mac, I can't wait to hear your breakdown on this one. Hoosiers, Boilermakers.
Yeah, I wanted to just double check. Okay, it's not that big a deal. These injuries. Man, Indiana needs one. These teams in the past have played some close games, and there's been some blowouts. You start to get the numbers 12 though. Even at home, like Purdue, where they've been so good, is pretty tough to take. And one thing with Indiana, they had that Illinois game, they got blown out pretty bad in a couple of these spots, but they've been solid. I just don't know what to make of this Indiana team. I think they're kind of okay. They're not great. To me, Purdue's better defensively, but 12.5, it just seems like a ton of points in this one. And they've had a week off after just the beatdown of Michigan, where they just rolled. How focused will they be early on. Of course, they are dominant at home. You know, I kind of was kicking myself. I know Michigan had played so well. Still, that as talented they are, they turn the ball over so much when it happened in that game as they got drilled. So this one, I mean, I'm off here. I really don't have a ton. You know, I have nothing.
I understand. I'm going to be on the Hoosiers first half. You know, expecting Purdue just after that phenomenal performance. I wish there wasn't a week. I wish there was 3 days or 2 days between games. But they got to be feeling good about themselves.
6.5. Is there a couple sevens? You see sevens?
I would love if I did, but I was expecting 6.5. Let me just check out right now. We only have one game after this one, and then we get into NBA. We'll wine time sports, and NBA has just destroyed me of late. Yeah, I can pay for a 7, and it's cheap. Oh, yes, there's one. The sevens are minus 115. I think that you make a great point there, that getting the 7 is imperative. The 7 here, I'd get it minus. So there's minus 1. I don't have the book that's offering the minus 115. I don't have an account at, but this one's offering at minus 116.
I wonder if we can get it. I'm gonna wait. I might move on this first. If I could get a good number on the 7. I mean, I like the 7. I'd rather have some lower juice.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Let's roll on to our final spot on this card. What a great job here, C-Mac. I'm so excited about my card. I need a night tonight badly after. God, it's so funny how your whole season can change in 48 hours. You're sitting here for 4 months, and in 48 hours, I'm negative units in NBA after being up between 7 to 10% ROI all year. And I get crushed back-to-back nights, and I'm just
the daily rot. It happens. It's just gonna happen when you do this every day. It's just a fact. The ups and downs, like you know what I mean, though.
Oh, I do.
As good as the runs can be, there can be. It's just get up, get on the horse, and get back after it. You know, and be winning at the end of the year.
Yeah. God, it was just such a slap in the face. But we get to our final spot here on the board, and we have not only do we have the Stacks play today, but the Chapiadora play today as well. It is Siena, the Siena Saints, being backed by our guy Strategic Investments and our guy Justin McKelvey. This is Stacks play today number 1.
Stacks.
I like this look. The boys on Siena here, coming off their second loss in 3 games, 72-68 at Iona. You know, Iona's a tough team. Here's Marist, 8-1 at the top of the conference, coming off destroying Canisius in Buffalo by 23 points, feeling good about themselves. Can Siena come in and make this a basketball game? Very, very interesting look from the boys here. Let's set this one up. I got first half up, so let's move over to full game. From a full game look, we have Siena plus 5.5. Now it's minus 105. So we're moving towards Marist. Marist has gone from 5 to 5.5. And that, as I said, that 5.5 is minus 111. So makes me think that a 6 is on the way. And if a 6 comes, then do we want to be on it? Well, we don't have cash flow information on the side. We do on the total, 70% of tickets and 68% of cash on that over. 70 and 68 on the over. Let's see what we're dealing with on the total. Obviously going to be a low one. We have a 126 heavily juiced to the over. The other books aren't nearly as heavy juiced to the over as this one. This moved back to 126 at 11:17 a.m. Here Eastern time. Take it away for us, C-Mac. Last spot on the board. Siena Saints, Marist Red Foxes.
Yeah, when I went through it, I thought this is a game where I'd be interested in Siena. I still am, because I don't think this Marist team is that good. And they've been good at home, though. That's the one thing. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, they're 8-1 here. at home. They are very good defensively. They want to slow this down. This game seems like an under to me. I don't know how there's going to be a ton of scoring here. That's one thing the Red Foxes done really, really good this year. Sienna's, some of their defensive numbers aren't great, but they slow down the game. They've gotten me, but they've also cashed for me a ton as Sienna. And where I've wanted them is the dog, even though I've gotten beaten a few times with it. Like, I remember they pushed at Merrimack, right? Yeah, they pushed in that game 6. They lost to Quinnipiac. Cornell, they won. They've been pretty good on the road. That's where I think they can hang in this game. And Maris, you talked about off that big win. I like it too. I wish we were getting a couple more.
I think we might get them. I think a 6
really?
is coming. I mean, well, this is now minus 111 to Marist and minus 105 to Siena.
Real quick on the money, did you say all the money's on? Marist?
We don't have the info yet, sadly. We only have the total info, and the money's on the
firm action yet?
No, we don't have it yet.
Okay.
But it should be coming soon here. Yeah, everything else is. We still don't have Dayton, St. Louis, but we don't have Niagara, Canisius.
This is the late night game here.
Yeah, this is the late night game. I like this. I'm going to wait, though. I'm curious to see if we get a 6. Now, in all honesty, I don't want to see a 6, actually. 6, I prefer that this line stays 5.5, because people are going to see a 15-3 team, 8-1 in conference, and they only got to win by 6. I think the public will be on them, so I'm going to sit back and wait on that one at this point. But I'm very interested. I'm going to have a big card, and I like it. Let's review all action here. First off, Pig Milk play today, St. Peter's -1. Stacks play today, number 2, because the first one is NBA is Siena +4.5. JPZ's on Princeton +3. I just got them at 3.5. Then we have okay, and then I got to add the Belmont over from yesterday. Sorry about that. Here's for CMAC. Okay, then we have CMAX on Princeton +3.5 -108. I got Princeton first half full game +1.5 +3.5. I'm very interested in Georgetown. CMAC leaning towards the under. Now CMAC can marinate with this stuff all day. Anything that he tweets out, we'll make official here. And my apologies for yesterday. I was just in the throes of despair. I do lean towards Manhattan. No movement there. I have moved, and Lex Steele says Maris wins by 11. I'm going to move on Dayton. Then Morgan Spooner's on Brown +105. CMAC has a lean to the over in Brown, Pennsylvania. CMAC has moved on Harvard +4 -108. Stayed off Dartmouth, Cornell. Then Kent State money line for Morgan Spooner. I just moved on to -3 at -110. Maybe too expensive. Then Fairfield, Mount St. Mary's, St. Peter's is going to be on my card, and the St. Peter's team total over. Morgan moved on St. Peter's -110. Canisius, Indiana first half, and possibly Siena will round out my card. I'm going to have a ton of college basketball action. I need a day-to-day. CMAC, spectacular job. I was excited about this 14-game card and being able to dive into it. So excellent.
Yeah. Before I bounce, real quick, add that over for me. Niagara, Canisius, over 137. And, yes, I'll let you know the Butler, Georgetown under, the Indiana, Siena, Fairfield. I'll tweet it out or send to you.
Okay. The Niagara Canisius over.
Official, yeah. 137.
Over
I just bet it.
30 over 137 -110. I'm going to take a look at that too. Too. I love it. Oh, and I have the respect play of the day. Where did I put that? I have it here. So we'll go over all of that stuff. But excellent work, my man. Please support Conor Mac here on X. I'm going to pop his X handle here in the chat. Please support our guy. Also, he's the star of the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. And this is his season, man. We just out of bowl season. Now we get heavy into college basketball. We have golf on the way. And then we have a March Madness where we'll all be in San Antonio for it. There's C-Max X handle in the chat. We had Mr. Belvedere on Siena +5. Now, if he was asking, did you take Jose to school when you guys were golfing together? Did you wax him? Or is he?
I wasn't. crazy, but yeah.
His short game coming a long way, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean, I just don't play enough golf. I drove the ball unbelievable. You know, it's just the irons, the putting, the chipping that goes when you don't practice at all. But
it was a good day with the young man, though.
Yeah, we had a good time. So
what was the course?
Legacy, the one I'm on here.
Okay,
in my backyard. Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not as nice anymore, of course. So, and we got out there early. We got to, I told Jose, these people, do you understand? I had to get back to cap the fucking Saturday basketball card.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have to get home. Like, that's why we're out at 6:30 in the morning. I must get back to get to it. So Jose just sat downstairs by cat for like an hour and a half.
I love it.
And then we left. Then we went to the book. Everything was great. We had a good time. So
I love it.
Shout out to Jose.
Thanks for rocking with us. You can catch C-Mac here every Wednesday and Friday on Betting with the Bag. Thank you, C-Mac. Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Let's have a big fucking Friday. I need it, Jimmy. Let's fucking cash. And I'll let you know on these games because I will be with them all day. So check us out. Me and McMahon, we'll just run through the Saturday card later today. Really. I mean, we just touch on these games and kind of just go over Saturday. The lines just come out and go through those. So check us out. Hitting the Books, 5 Eastern.
5 Eastern, Hitting the Books YouTube channel. Our guy, C-Mac. And the respect play today, Yale under. Okay, it's time for the elephant in the room. The last 48 hours have been absolutely destroyed in NBA. Got a little too cocky. I don't know what it is or what it was, but just annihilated, and it's very costly. And it's time to change that right now, right here. And we've just demanded to help get me into the black. He also had a tough night last night. We were just, short schedule, and we got bombarded. We need to win today. Today's a new day. We're not going to talk about what has gone on in the last 48 hours. We're going to focus only on these games here. I'm ready to rock. We have a perfect schedule of 7 games, and then we're going to race for $50. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California. Rock with him in San Antonio in 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks. Please welcome Wine Time Sports to the show. Wine Time, what's good, man? How are you?
Jimmy, you got me so stoked talking about Pub 4. It's right around the corner. I'm about to book my ticket today from LAX to San Antonio, Wednesday to Sunday. Going to get there Wednesday night at about 9 p.m., just enough time to meet up with everyone, start capping for the day before. Because Thursday, guys, try to get there before Thursday because Thursday's going to be a wild day when you get to Southtown. We're going to have a lot of games going on. And you want to have time to cap. But with that being said, man, I'm ready to attack today, Jim. I've got a lot of value in today's card. Yesterday was a really rough day for me. The Jazz, blowing a 15-point lead in the first quarter. I know it's just the first quarter. It's NBA, but 15 points. It's 1 point in that game. Just completely fell apart in every way, shape, or form. But we're ready to attack this card. I'm so stoked to get to work right here.
Let's do it. Let's not talk about the last 40 hours. Let's focus on turning it around. God, I just can't believe that months of work goes down the drain.
Just a day or two, man. It's crazy, Jim. It's crazy how that can work. If just one day, yesterday, 1 in 4 day for me. That's just, that's more than 3 units, that's
I went 0 and 4 yesterday. And look, the record is one thing. And it sucks because it hurts the show, but it's the money. It's the fucking money. All right, let's get to work here. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern with the LA Clippers, which is also Stacks play today. Numero 2. The Clippers is being backed by our man Justin McKelvey. Clippers 27-20, 10-12 on the road. The Charlotte Hornets 12-32, 8-16 at home. We're the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. This line has moved. The Clippers are now minus 13. They opened up at minus 14.5, and it's now minus 13. A 1.5 move towards Charlotte. On the total for this one, we have a 208.5. It's minus 107 to the under. This opened up at 212.5 to the under. So we've had just a monstrous move towards the under, which then is somebody out. Let me just refresh my information here. We have no, everybody good. It's usual suspects. Dunn and Tucker are out for the Clippers. We know Ball is out, so Josh Green is a game time decision here. But he's listed as probable. Talk about how far your roster's fallen off that you're hoping that Josh Green is in the lineup. Let's roll here. Clippers 3-2 over the past 5, 14th fastest pace, 99.92 possessions a game, shooting the ball better, 49% from the field and 35.3 from three. Charlotte 1-4 over their past 5, 24th fastest pace, 97.3 possessions a game, shooting the ball poorly, 42.8 from the field and 35.3 from three. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. We have 71% of the tickets and 77% of cash on the Clippers. 90% of the cash, 90% of the tickets and 83% cash on the over, and it's dropped. I mean, you know the feeling when the line goes. I feel so bad for anyone who bet the over 212.5 and they're looking at 208 right now. I just, good God, that pit in your stomach. I start sweating and I feel sick. Like my body reacts immediately to when that happens. Clippers coming off their third win in 4 games, 128-116. The Spurs on Wednesday, 27 from Kawhi, 27 from Storm and Norman. As Storm and Norman playing well right now, 20 or more points in 11 of his last 12 games. Shout out, 4 years in college. You don't see that anymore. 4 full years in college. He was a Raptor. He was a great Raptor. Unfortunately, we traded him for Gary Trent Jr.
Okay, I remember that, man. Ugh. I liked Gary Trent at the time, but yeah, he kind of just fell apart. He lost that shot in Toronto, man.
I kind of liked him at the time too, unfortunately. But so let's talk about this Clippers spot. 3-1 over the past 4, 7-3 over their last 10. And this is their third game of a 4-game road trip. Hornets coming off their 4th loss in 5 games, 104-83 at home over to the Nets. First Nets. That was my last win.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, let's not talk about what. So LaMelo leaves on Monday against the Lakers. Ankle sprain. Missed Wednesday's game. The 83 points was the lowest points that they've scored all season long. Miles Bridges put up 23. And now you have Brandon Miller gone for the season. You have LaMelo is a China doll. So it's got to be Miles Bridges doing the heavy lifting. He's over his last 9 games averaging 22.1 points per game. They also have been playing without Mark Williams here. And this is also, I mean, talk about it. It's also the first of a back-to-back. I mean, they host the Nuggets here tomorrow night. But it's too bad because this is game 5 of a 9-game homestand. I mean, now I don't think game 5 is the sweet spot in a 9-gamer. I would say game 7 would be the sweet spot, but it is a good spot here. So, there's no Williams. He would help very, very much. He's going to miss his 2nd straight due to left foot tendon injury. You know me in this spot. I mean, this is dog or pass. I know, and it's a mistake but now with the 1.5 move towards the Hornets. Look, I'm not running to the window to bet the Hornets. Take it away, Wine Time Clippers Hornets.
Yeah, Jim, I was hoping to get Mark Williams in this spot for the Hornets. If he was playing in this game, I think I would definitely be on the Charlotte Hornets. That's definitely my lean here right now, and we're seeing some line movement heading towards them, even though their star players are out. Yeah, you talked on Miles Bridges. That guy can go out. He can ball, man. He's a ball player. That guy, he's looking to be traded somewhere. I know he's had some off-court issues in the past, but on the court, this guy is a dog. He goes out there. He attacks the rim. He can step back threes. He makes his free throws. He's a big dude, very athletic. He's going to have himself a night tonight. You can guarantee that. On the other side, though, yeah, you mentioned Norman Powell just playing some of the best basketball I've ever seen, man. Draining threes, getting to the rim as well. Like, the guy's doing it all right now for the Clippers team. Clippers, I mean, healthy right now. They've got their big 3 in there with Powell, Kawhi, and James Harden. Zubac at the center and Derrick Jones. You never know what you're going to get out of Derrick Jones. Sometimes he'll go 4 from 3, Sometimes he'll shock you with that stuff. But Charlotte, it's tough to back these guys after we backed the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday night and seeing how bad this Hornets team was, how they just completely fell apart in that second half. It almost looked like the Washington Wizards, honestly. Just a bad basketball team. And it seems like it's looking like Josh Green is going to be playing in this. So this definitely helps if he can knock down those corner threes when he sits in the corner and makes them. That will definitely help out. I would only lean towards the Hornets being at home, getting this many points. If this goes down to a 12 and a half, I might not kick myself because I can get a 13 right now. But just this Clippers team, they're healthy and they do have a good squad. So with that being said, I've got 4 plays today. This is not one of them. If I do end up moving on something in this game, I'll end up tweeting it out. It would only be the Hornets, maybe some Bridges props, but I'm going to stay away.
I can understand why you are staying away here. I do have interest in the Hornets first quarter, plus 4.5 or more. The even when the Clippers beat up on the Spurs, they lost that first quarter. They lost by 2. I don't know how you get up for this basketball game here. I wish it was the fourth game of a 4-game road trip. I wish they were going home after this, and I would definitely do it. I don't know exactly what to do here, but I do have interest in the Hornets first quarter plus 4.5. Interest in them. My guy Black Thor King in the house. I don't know. He doesn't talk to me. So I don't know Black Thor King, but wish him the best wherever he is. You know where he is. He lives like a few blocks away from me. It's so messed up that of course we have a falling out, and then I move right across the street from him. Let's roll. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Mavericks 26-22, 12-12 on the road at the Detroit Pistons, 23-24, 10 of 11 at home. Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. And it's too bad. Not that we need to air anything out in public, but I can separate business and friendship very easily. I've always been able to do it. There's two different things. But we weren't able to do that, which happens, and we move forward. Let's get into line history and the cash flow here. We have this total at 229.5, juice to the under. Opened up at 228, now at 229.5. So we've gone up 1.5 points. Wow. Okay. We jumped up 1.5 points here. Then we have Dallas -1 at -106. Dallas has gone from dog to favorite +1.5 to -1. I would like to fade badly. I'd like to back Detroit here, but I got burnt backing them in a situation where I didn't really want them. The market wasn't telling me to do it, and I just did on my own. But 29% of tickets, 39% of cash on the Pistons on the spread. This line's moved towards Dallas. But then 51% of tickets and 41% of cash on the money line on Detroit. And again, this line's moved towards Dallas. 89% of tickets and 90% cash on the over. It just it just get this feeling like how is Clay going to keep playing out of his mind? Like I kind of want to fade this. So 12th fastest pace in the league, Dallas. 6th fastest for Detroit. Dallas 50.9 from the field and 41.2% from 3. Detroit 46.3 from the field and 34.6 from 3. Mavericks coming off their third win in 4 games, 137-136 at the Pelicans on Wednesday. Kyrie went for 25, 9, and 6 against the Pelicans, and PJ Washington looked very good, 25, 14, and 8. When are you going to see a line from him like that? Yeah. Gafford went 9 and 9 from the field, 22, 12, and 4 with 3 assists. I mean, when I go over those stats, don't you want to fade that team in the next game? But do you really want to go up a dog to, a team that's gone from dog to favorite? They're beat up. We know Derek Lively out, Kleber out, Powell out, and of course Luka the Dawn out. Pistons coming off their third straight loss, 133-119 at the Pacers on Wednesday. Cade Cunningham played very well. He tried to keep him in the game. 32 and 9. Not only that, but I made a live bet on the Pistons plus 11.5 and threw that in the toilet too. Take it away for us here. Wine time, Mavericks Pistons.
Yeah, another game I haven't moved on yet, but a game I want to move on, and I think we're kind of aligning on this one too. I want to try to. The only thing about this Pistons spot is, I saw that they opened up as a favorite last night. They're now a dog. I definitely don't like doing that. Excuse me. But Detroit, losing 3 straight. Detroit basketball right now, they're playing some good basketball this season. They're a 500 team. They're trying to get into the playoffs, trying to make at least a play-in run here. They've got a good starting 5. You got Cade Cunningham. That dude he's a dude, man. He's a ball player. He's playing some big-time ball right now. He can do everything for you. They've got Tobias Harris. He can occasionally knock down some threes. You got Tim Hardaway Jr., who's hit or miss. Thompson playing some really good basketball defensively for them as well. And Mavericks just kind of rolling right now, playing some good ball without Luka the Dawn. I'm actually surprised at how Dallas is still 4 games over 500. Don't get me wrong, they still have a good lineup. I like D. Windy when he's on. When he's making those 3 balls, he's on. With that being said, though, I want to somehow move on Detroit. Only thing that keeps me off this spot is seeing them go from a favorite to a dog, being at home, but they've lost 3 straight. Like I said, they need this win here. They need this. And the Mavericks, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much they're going to be up for this game coming off a, 1-point win over Pelicans, a game that, we were on the Pelicans in that spot. The Pelicans looked like they were playing better basketball for the first half. And that third quarter really just fell apart. Zion. That's not the right game. But Detroit, I definitely like them in this spot here. I haven't moved on them officially. I wanted to talk about it with you, hear it from everybody in the chat here. But my only lean here would be the Pistons on the money line. I think I can get let's see. I might move on this right now. It's just they've lost 3 straight games, and I've done well backing Detroit in spots like this. It's really just the only thing keeping me off this game is going from a favorite to a dog for them. My book here is not even giving me the money line. They give me +1, -110 here. Let's circle back over this game, Jim.
Listen to this, though. Listen to this. BJ brings up a very interesting point. Then I had to, just click a couple buttons. But this opened up where we used to play poker at -113. So that was at 11:20 p.m.
Wait, the Pistons, who opened up at -113?
The Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, okay. So,
well, that's a shock.
Yeah.
Here wow, this is so interesting. So the sharpest offshore in the land opened this up 7 minutes later with the Mavericks at +107. That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So this opens up at 11:20 p.m. at -113. So sorry, 7 minutes is wrong. Sorry, that's like 39 minutes earlier. So then it only moved 3 cents here before the sharpest offshore opened it up at +107. If I'm looking at this, and I'm happy BJ brought this up, if I'm looking at this line or the book that brought it out first, that tells me that the Pistons are live. Now that's money line. Let's see what they did with the spread here. The spread would have come out. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Let me just this is important. So on the spread, this opened up at 2:20 p.m. So it's dog to favorite. There's no getting around it. The money line came out 9 hours later. So the opening line here was +1 for Dallas. And then 31 minutes later, they were +1.5. The first move is towards the Pistons. And then by 5:15 at night, they were -1 at -115. But thank you for bringing that up, BJ. It is interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if this was Major League Baseball, we wouldn't. Now we'd look at that sharp book going from +107 to -111, and we would just not move on it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm going to do the same here. And Saturated said that was an embarrassing loss for the Pacers. They're motivated. Blackthorn King looking at the over in this spot. I agree. They're motivated. I want to fade the Mavericks after beating a weak Pelican squad at home.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson definitely. I don't know if he's going to keep shooting this hot from 3 either. I mean, he's either hot or cold. I'm just hoping for a cold night from him. If I do back the Detroit side, kind of have to force PJ Washington to score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Dinwiddie too. He's on or off, and we know what Kyrie's going to do. He's going to go out there and ball, but I don't know. I'm most likely Jim will end up moving on the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if he'll be on the show. I'll end up texting you about it or tweet it out. I'm going to most likely bet these Pistons. I just have to look at it a little bit more.
I'm interested as well, but nothing for me here. Rez, no, there's nothing's up other than we are trying to be at the forefront to push helping Texas legalize sports gambling. We've now moved with our partners now all of the legal sports books. And if you want to sign up for any of them, anybody out there with our link, it helps us out. We get a bonus if you sign up. If you just put in your state or your province, tell you all the books and what offers they have. And we do not get 1 cent off of losses. That's important because a lot of companies make all their money off of their own fans losing. We don't. We just get the bonus for the sign up, and then we want you to take them to the cleaner. So, Jose, if you could put the link up to our the books that we're partnered up with, that would be great. Okay, let's roll on. Next up for us, we have the Sweaty Butcher Prime Cut. I love that dude, man. Isn't he magic? This
Oh,
guy.
he's him and his whole family, man. His kids, dude. His kids are great family right there. Sweaty Butcher's the man. Anyone you haven't met him, you gotta have a blast hanging out with him. He's a good dude. He's one of us.
Oh, he's so one of us. Denver Nuggets 28-19, 14-11 on the road at Philadelphia 76ers, 19-27, 9-13 at home. So I bet a player prop. I couldn't help myself. And my ROI is fine when I can't help myself. When I'm out there looking for them, that's that's why I moved on Jokic. Nikolai Jokic. Look, they've lost 3 straight games. They're 0-3 on this road trip. He's coming off a game where he did very little. They're not dealing with the travel anymore. They were offering the over 50.5 points. I almost doubled up. I thought now LJ from H-Town, the Trill OG play today is the over 27.5 points. I looked at the over 27 and I looked at the triple-double, but the triple-double was only minus 115 or minus 110. So I stayed off of it. Let's just see what the 50.5 is now. Points, rebounds, this. It's still there. Not 1 cent changed. Over 50.5 at plus 102. So that's the only bet I've made so far is backing Nikolai. And I didn't want to double up on it. I didn't see the point there. Just a unit is fine. Let's get into this one. Denver 2-3 over the past 5. Second fastest pace in the NBA. A surprise. Saturated looking at Jokic rebounds and assists. They're shooting 51.7 from the field and 36.1 from 3. Philadelphia 4-1 over their past 5. 98.6 possessions a game. That's 19th. Shooting 48.2 from the field and 38.9 from 3. Notice last night when Sweaty Butcher backed the Portland Trailblazers, he was backing the hotter team. He didn't care. He didn't care that it seemed like the market was moving towards the opposite. He just backed the team that was playing good ball, and it was a smash and grab for him. So I get it. So let's take a look at the line history in the cash flow. Oh, we did that already. Sorry, my bad. I pulled this up at least. Minus 9.5 for the Nuggets. So there's been a 2 cent move towards Denver. This did go to 9 for a cup of coffee, but it's back at 9.5. Excuse me. From a total perspective, this is 233.5 just to the over. We've had a 2-point move towards the over. And yes, I feel you, man. BFV saying Denver has cost me the last few games. The only time I backed them was against the Knicks. I thought they were going to step up. They did not. 56% of tickets and 60% of cash on the Denver Nuggets. 84% of tickets and 86% cash on the over. Nuggets coming off their third straight loss, 122-112 with the Knicks on Wednesday. They lost their last 3 games. Minnesota Timberwolves, Chicago Bulls, New York Knicks by an average of 15.7 points. In their loss, a 10-point loss to the Knicks, Jokic, 17 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. They've lost all 3 games on this trip. And this is the first of a back-to-back. They play at Charlotte tomorrow. And the reason why I'm not on Denver, the reason why I switched over to just Jokic is because it was just January 21st. It was 10 days ago that the Nuggets destroyed the Sixers. 144-109. How could they not keep that in mind? The Sixers team coming off their 4th straight win, 117-104 at home over the Kings on Wednesday. Tyrese Maxey goes for 30 and 8. He's playing so well. He's playing clean. He's not taking 30 shots a game. He's shot over 50% in all of his last 6 games. And he's got to do the heavy lifting with Embiid and George out. Right now, he's averaging 27.1 points per game. This is game 3 of a 6-game homestand. And yeah, Saturated saying Yabusele got nothing for Jokic. That was it as well. Saturated looking at the Nuggets team total over. Blackthorn King looking at the over. What's Wine Time Sports going to do? Take it away, Nuggets, Sixers.
Yeah, that Jokic props definitely looks appealing here because I don't know who's going to be able to guard him here on this Philadelphia 76ers team. Jim, it's crazy. I have 4 plays today, and we haven't came across one of them yet, but another game I desperately kind of want to move on. The more I look at it, I could have gotten a 9 just a little bit ago. Now my book's giving me a 9.5. I want to move on the Nuggets. They've lost 3 straight. I think they're going to come out here. They're going to be playing angry. I was on the Knicks in that game that we talked about on Wednesday against the Nuggets. It was a good game up until I believe that 4th quarter from what I remember. A lot of booze on that day, but it was a good game for the most part. The Knicks kind of just took over there in that 4th quarter, but I don't know. I think Denver's going to get up for this game, Jim. I think it's a Friday night. I know it's on the road. It's an ESPN game, though. I think Jokic is going to ball. I think Russ is going to have himself a game as well. We're going to need Jamal Murray to be hot and stay hot. We're going to need him to be consistent tonight. And Michael Porter Jr. as well. He can knock down those threes, man. When he gets hot, there's no stopping him from 3. I'm going to move on this, Jim. I'm going to make it official. I'm going to give it out. Can you find me a 9 anywhere? Mine would be minus 120, I believe. But if I can get a better number, I might just move on the 9.5 though, because I do think this is a double-digit smash spot. Phillies won 4 straight. They're playing really good basketball. I get where Sweaty's coming from in this spot because they are playing the better brand of basketball these last couple games. But with that being said, I mean, Philly only 8 games under 500 now after this little win streak they got going on. So, when they get healthy, maybe they can potentially make a little bit of a run to try to get in that plan or last seed in the playoffs, just to, make the playoffs. You know what I mean? At the start of the season, this team was too talented not to. They just can't get healthy. But I think this is a smash spot for Denver. I think they're going to take advantage of here, especially Jokic down low. I should probably look at Jokic props as well, but I'm not going to make that official. I'm going to make this official, though. Could you find me a 9, Jim, or no?
I can surprisingly at a sharp book, and it's not a stale line. They just moved it. They moved it from 9.5 to 9 at 11:21 a.m. Since then, it's taken 6 cents of juice, but the last bit of juice that took on was 1:13 p.m., so 20 minutes ago. But yes, I can get you a -9 at minus 111.
Yeah, lock me in. I'm going to move in on the Denver Nuggets here. I think they take care of business. I think they should. They need to get something going, and they need some confidence, and they need to put their foot on their throat and not stop this entire game. Play a 4-quarter basketball game, beat these guys by double digits. At least feel good about yourself beating a team that's been playing good basketball since you have not been playing good basketball. I know Denver, that was another thing, though. I know Denver smashed these guys up last time they played, but I'm not even going to keep that into account, honestly, for this spot. I'm not going to let that worry me. I'm going to move on the Nuggets here, -9, because I do think that they should beat these guys by double digits.
I love it. You are locked in, locked and loaded here. Let's roll on. To Chicago Bulls 20-28, 11-12 on the road. Toronto Raptors 50-32, 11-13 at home. Raptors have won 5 straight. Blue Jays signed Maximus Scherzer. It's all coming together
15,
here, man.
15.5 mil, I think, too. I mean, has he played for that little ever?
No, he's got 6 wins in him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to need 10 starts out of him.
You know what? His first few starts, they're going to be sold out. The game's going to be sold out. I mean, Rogers is just, they're making so much money off this shit baseball team. But 78.5 wins. How futures in baseball, depends where you look, but 78.5 wins. And then also you can find them to make the playoffs anywhere between 270 and 370. It's a huge difference depending on
Wow, their win total is only 7. So that's not even a 500 record. That's crazy.
78.
Wow. Yeah. I need to start looking at MLB team totals. I'm so excited for baseball season. I'm going to do a bunch of research here in these next coming weeks, especially when pitchers and catchers start reporting. But I'm looking forward to some baseball, man.
So am I. So a little bit of excitement here in Toronto. Jermaine moving on. RJ Barrett over 20.5 points. Now, this is a fascinating situation because there's an expectation that IQ will play. Now, I know, he's a game time decision here. Just another China doll with the hip injury. He's played 9 games this year, but there is an expectation that he will play. Now, he's still just listed as questionable. He's not listed as probable, but it's a crucial information, especially if you're interested in fading Toronto, which I always am. Grady Dick also is still sick. So as the IQ thing that people think he's going to play, Grady Dick could not be out there possibly. So there's crucial information. Zach LaVine's not going to play tonight. He's not going to play the next game either. The assumption is he's going to miss 3 games with the birth of his child. So and then Horton, Tucker, and Craig are out. So it's very very interesting here. So let's set this one up and get to work. Bulls, Raptors here. And we have the Toronto Raptors right now are -4 and -102. They opened up at -4.5. So we have a move towards the Chicago Bulls. But this got down to 3.5. Now it's back at 4. Again, I think IQ plays. And then I would be happy to be on the Bulls, but I would like it at a better number. So that's the situation that we're dealing with. This total's at 232.5. It's juiced to the over. Open up at 233. So we have a slight move towards the under. Then we have 33% of the tickets and 35% of the cash on the Chicago Bulls. Look, that's my wheelhouse. It's just the IQ hanging over this. It's important. It's really important. The last thing you want to do is take the Bulls +4, have IQ announced in, and have a 5 available. 86% of tickets, 86% cash on the over. Now, there's two sides of the coin, obviously. If IQ is not in and it goes down to 3 or 2.5 is not good. But look at the Skunt Blaster. Skunt Blaster is on the Bulls money line. Fernando Mendoza liking the under, but Mr. Skunt Blaster is on the Bulls at +140. Shout out to Ye Old Skunt. It's a very wonderful opportunity to use that word. Just throw an S in front of it. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. Chicago 2-3 over their past 5, playing at 9th fastest pace in the league, 101 possessions a game, 42.5 from the field, horrific field numbers, 36.3 from 3, pretty good. Toronto 5-0, longest winning streak in Darko's coaching career. It's the longest winning streak since March 24th to April 1st in 2022 for the Toronto Raptors. What a fucking sad situation we have here. Shooting 49.3 from the field and 38.1 from 3. And shout out to the Skunt Blaster, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Mick Williams getting it. Thank you, Skunt, my friend. Skunt. So, and Saturated makes a good point. Never a good day when Dick and both balls are out. Well put. Well put, Saturated. We need to make a shirt for that. So the Bulls coming off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 122-100 at the Celtics on Wednesday. That bothered me so much. I mean, we knew the market was telling us that the Celtics were going to destroy them. It was a 14.5. I made the mistake of thinking, hey, Zach LaVine's out, maybe but the market tells you when the Celtics are going to annihilate their opposition.
Yep. Similar to
LaVine out on paternity leave. Kobe scored 16. I guess you got to call him Kobe White. Sorry, my fault. Kobe White scored 16 points after missing the previous 4 games with a bone bruise in his left ankle. Patrick Williams went for 16. Raptors won 5 straight, coming up that 106-82 win at the Wizards on Wednesday. What an atrocity the Washington Wizards are. So Scotty Barnes went for 24. Pirtle and Agbaji each had 12. 8 players scored in double digits as the Raptors shot 47.7 from the field and 35.5 from 3. And they lost. It's back December 16th. I don't really think it's on their minds here. They lost 122-121, at home to the Bulls on December 16th. All right, take it away for us. Wine time. Bulls, Raptors.
Yeah, shout out to the Toronto Raptors. They were making me some cash there, and then I decided to fade them with the worst team in the NBA for some reason. And like I said, watching those Washington, they are the worst team I've ever fucking seen, guys. Chat, just don't even watch them. It's crazy. You can't look at the market in these games. You can't look at anything. You got to look at the body of work of them. You're going to know right away they're not going to be able to cover 10 points against anyone in this league. With that being said, this is going to be a good matchup, man. Friday night in Toronto. Chicago, they're getting Kobe White back in this game. I expect him to have himself a game. And Jim, you know where I'm at on this. This is right in my wheelhouse. I'm not going to take the 4 points. Right with my guy Scott. I got this shot poured out. I wanted to take it when he hit 100 likes. He already gifted a membership. We're on the same play. Shout out to you, Scott. Let's go.
Oh, it looks delicious. A 10:40 a.m. shot. What are we in San Antonio?
Let's go, baby.
That looks delicious.
With that being said, we're on the Bulls money line +140. They're going to take care of business here. I would like to have LaVine back. I'm pretty sure he's still out for this one. Haven't got anything confirmed on that, but I know he's on maternity leave. His wife just had a baby. He missed the last game. Toronto playing some of the best basketball all season, and I know they're back at home. They're feeling themselves. They're healthy. If IQ's in, I like the Bulls even more because it's going to be his first game back, like you said. I think the Bulls take care of business. Shout out to the Raptors, though, for playing some good ball while they've been healthy. They're going to put money in our pockets when they're healthy like this, and we can get good numbers on them. But I think this is a good number on the Chicago Bulls. Got to get I see Saturated in there. Back in the Bulls is scary. It is, but I've also cashed with the Bulls in these exact same spots, +140, +150 area where the public is not on them. I understand why the public is more on Toronto in this spot. They're playing way better basketball, and they've got probably the better starting 5, but I think the Bulls are going to take care of business here. So Bulls +140 on the money line from you, Jim. Let's go.
I like it. I want to know what the hell's going on with IQ, but I expect to join you on this, backing the Bulls here. Fading the Raptors off of dominating the worst team we've ever seen in the history of basketball. But the thing that's bothering me so much is how much money is there to be made fading the Wizards? And where is the money? It's not my account. It's not my bankroll. Oh, God. All right. I'm interested. Very, very interested. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. But we have the Scott Blaster and Wine Time both on Bulls money line, and I would like to back them. But I would like 4.5 or 5, and I want to know IQ's in. Let's roll. 8 p.m. Eastern, the Boston Celtics 33-15, 17-6 on the road at the New Orleans Pelicans 12-36, 8-17 at home at Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Getting to the line history here for this spot. We have the total at 233. It's juiced to the under. Opened up at 231.5. So we've got a 1.5 move towards the over. We talk about the point spread in this spot. We have Boston -11 at -104. That's exactly, this has moved 7 cents towards the Pelicans. So this line's not moving. Very different situation than we had against the Bulls when that line was flying towards the Celtics. So it's a very different situation. Let's take a look at the cash flow then. Only 38% of tickets and 48% of cash on the Pelicanos, 87 and 88 on the over. Hate to say it out loud, but the Pelicans are becoming appealing. Boston playing at 25th fastest pace in the league, 96.98 possessions a game, shooting 44.3 from the field and 38.1 from three. Those numbers from three are climbing fast. They were shooting poorly there for a couple weeks back. Pelicans are 1-4, 102.07 possessions a game. That's third fastest in the NBA, shooting 46.8 from the field and 35.2 from three over that time period. And Nasty Nate with KP's threes over. They have been cashing over and over and
For
over.
6 minutes of that game on Wednesday, he hit it, man. That was crazy. I saw him hit those 3 threes, and I thought of my guy Nasty Nate. I was like, God damn, that's easy cash right there.
He cashed 8 threes in that one, 8 of 14 for 34 points. In January, he's shooting. Well, this is over the last 9 games, I think. So it's not quite all of January. Oh, so this is from January 8th on. January 8th on, he's shooting 54.1% from three. Before that, he was shooting 32.9% from three. So this guy is just absolutely rolling. LJ from H-Town in the house says Celtics have lost 10 in a row coming off against the spread. Win is a double-digit fave. Double-digit home dogs off a loss by 8 or less, rating 60%. System says take the Pelicanos. And Res Mob says he's not picking the world that Jimmy won't hand a mirror to. Yes, that's true. That's true. And I think I didn't even need LJ's angle and Coin backing it up. I think the Pelicans are the right bet here. But let's talk about it a little further. Celtics coming off their second win in 3 games, 122-100 at home over the Bulls. Pelicans coming off their 4th straight loss, 137-136 at home to the Mavericks on Wednesday. Yes? Are you on the Pelicans one time?
No, Jim, I am actually not. We might be going head-to-head in this spot. I am on the Boston Celtics. I got the 10.5. My book's out at 11 right now. I'm not liking it from what I'm hearing from you, everyone in the chat, though, all these stats. Definitely don't like that. But I think this is a Celtics smash spot if you ask me. Pelicans, I mean, maybe because they cost me money in their last game, maybe it's a recency bias, and Boston Celtics just cash with these. But I don't know. I think this is a high spread. I mean, it's 11 now at my book. It was a 10.5. I think we're going to see 11.5 and maybe 12s. And if so, I'm going to be more, it's going to make me love it. But if this line goes down more towards the Pelicans, definitely going to have to backtrack on a couple of things. But I already made the bet. I made it this morning. I got the Celtics minus 10.5, minus 110. I'm going to give it out to you guys as that. I think they take care of business here. They just beat the Bulls by 22 points, a beat up Bulls team, not that had a lot. And Pelicans coming. It's just a tough spot. Pelicans coming off a crushing loss to Dallas. I was on the Pelicans in that spot. It seemed like they should have won that game outright. Zion questionable in this one. Yeah, Jim.
Sick.
Doesn't look good, honestly, Jim. I mean, he's a baby, but it doesn't look good because Zion, man. I mean, when he plays, though, when he gets to that bucket, man, when he drives and he's making those layups, oh, man, it's money in the bank. He just can't make these free throws, Jim. I mean, we saw in that first half, the Pelicans should have been up by 15 points. But he couldn't make his and ones. And when he wasn't making those layups, he was going 1 or 2 every time. All these guys are missing their free throws that game. It was kind of crazy, honestly. It was weird. But they are coming off a 1-point loss to a good Dallas Mavericks team. Maybe they are angry. It was at home, so this is a back-to-back game at home. They had yesterday to rest. I already moved on it, though, Jim. I don't like it as much now. I'm not going to lie sometimes, but the line did move in my favor. If it doesn't move in my favor, it goes to like a 10 or something. I'm going to know that the Pelicans are going to cover this game just from my past history when I look at these lines and stuff when they go against me. But I'm on the Celtics minus 10.5, minus 110. That's what I'm on. I think they take care of business. I think they put their foots on the throats of these guys, especially if it's just DeJounte and CJ McCollum. If McCollum's not making his shots, they're going to have to rely on Trey Murphy too to hit those threes. Maybe they do. It is at home a Friday night at the Smoothie King Arena. I have been here. It's a fucking great arena. It's small. It's so easy to get to. Like, seat right when you walk in, your seats are right there. The bathroom's right there. Like, in the concession stands, you don't have to walk around. Shout out to them, but I'm on the Celtics minus 10.5. Shout out to my guy Nasty Nate. It seems like every time I back the Celtics on the show, I cashed with them as well. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, but my ROI has been good with the Celtics, backing them as a double-digit favorite this season, so I'm going to continue to do it here.
At that offshore we used to play poker at 6 minutes ago, they just moved it to 11.5.
Okay, good. Keep going up.
Yeah, so I'm certainly going to wait. Yeah, coin seeing 11.5 now.
I don't think Zion's going to play, Jim, and if he's not playing, I mean, I know Trey Murphy can put the ball in the bucket, and we know CJ and DeJounte can too, but they're not the greatest. DeJounte's not the greatest shooter in the world. If he has an off night, I just don't think they're going to – if Celtics get up by like 15 points in the first half, I think it's going to continue to go. Could be wrong in this spot. This is one of those spots where I'm kind of retracing my steps here, hearing you and hearing the chat talk about this, hearing those stats from LJ and stuff. But I'm going to go with my cap here and take the Celtics.
Yeah, I'm going to wait on this, but I have interest in the Pelicanos on a Friday night. Shout out to James Bowman. Is all in sports pick of the day, soccer, spot, Spain, Liga Leganes, Rayo Vallecano. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
That good,
over 1.5. Over 1.5 goals. Nasty Nate. Oh, God, he's got a good basketball team on his hands, man. I get it. And he's made a lot of money off of them. So shout out to Nasty Nate.
I have too. I've made more money off the Celtics than I have off the Lakers this season. So shout out to you, Nasty Nate. Can't wait to kick it with you in San Antonio.
Oh, God, I just wish I could just wake up and be there. But I've got a lot of winning that I need to do before I get there now. Make sure my bankrolls ripe. We move on. Milwaukee Bucks, 26-19, 9-12 on the road. San Antonio Spurs, 20-24, 12-11 at home. We're at Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. On the Friday night of Pubapalooza, Sixers, Spurs. Now, that's our poker night as well. So you have a choice. You play poker with us or go to the game and get back near the end of the poker festivities. God damn, I need it. Bucks, Spurs, Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. Great place to watch a game. Milwaukee 3-2 over the past 5, 16th fastest pace, 99.1 possessions a game. Shooting well, nice. Shooting ball, nice. 50.8 from the field, 37.6 from three. Spurs 1-4, not playing well. Playing at the 5th fastest pace, 101.6 possessions a game. Shooting 48.8 from the field and 38.2 from three. We have all of the big guns game time decisions, but we know the plan. Chris Middleton is probable, so no concern there. Dame time is probable, so no concern there. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is probable. So everybody going to be in, but they are listed on the injury report. The Spurs are a healthy squad. Let's get into the line history here. I'm saturated here with the Bucks smash. But I do want to talk it out here because the line, just for starters, is fishy. Just a minus
down 2. Mine just moved down to a 2.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it as a 2. This opened up at a 3. That's very uncomforting. Then we move on to totals. This total just moved up at a couple books. Just moved down, though. At this sharp offshore, we now have 233.5. This opened up at 231, got up to 234.5, got up to 235. Jesus, this was 235 at noon. Now we have 233.5. So we have some buyback, but we still have a 2.5 point move towards the over. Fixes in is looking at the Spurs, and Mr. Belvedere is saying Lillard won't play most likely is what he is thinking. I mean, all three are listed as probable.
Yeah, I see them all as probable. I think they're all going to play.
But it is a very peculiar line.
It is a weird line, though. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the lines where it just doesn't make sense, Jim. Right? Like, I mean, the Spurs playing horrible basketball right now, like horrible. These guys are fucking trash right now. Bucks, I mean, they are. Let's see. I was on the Portland Trailblazers. We were on the money line here against them last week, but they took care of it. I mean, won 3 of their last 5. I don't know. Continue here. You'll get to me. Continue what you're saying.
Well, no, I mean, but I hear what you're saying. It's just, if the Bucks were coming off beating the Blazers by 15, I would already have bet the Spurs. The Spurs only have 20% of the tickets and 29% of the cash, and yet this line's moving towards them. On the money line, they only have 20% of the tickets, 17% of cash, and the line's moving towards them. I mean, how did 87% of tickets, 87% cash on the over? The line's dropping a little bit. Jermaine saying Bucks 1-3 against the spread on Friday away from the crib. Coin saying Lillard Middleton game time decisions, explains the move. I've got them listed as probable here. And this line is continuing to move towards the Spurs. Bucks coming off their second loss in 3 games. My dude saying Bucks have a losing record on the road, terrible numbers on the road. The Spurs are 12-11 at home, my dude. But I hear you. The Bucks have not been good. Coming off their second loss in 3 games, 125-112 at the Blazers on Tuesday. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 39 points. He goes 17-24 with 12 boards and 5 assists, and they lose. Now they are, they've won 9 of their last 12 games, and they're an angry group. Dame went for 20. Brooke Lopez and the aforementioned Gary Trent Jr. went for 11 each. And this is the final game of a 4-game road trip. So for me, don't you feel like this has not been a good road trip? Like we got at least go home 50-50. But the Spurs coming off their second straight loss, 5th in 6 games, 128-116 at home to the Clippers on Wednesday. Wemby goes for 23 and 12. Castle is so good. Goes for 20. Vassell 19. Barnes 15. 2-8 over the past 10. Now 4 games under 500. And this is the first of a back-to-back. They host the Heat tomorrow. So there's a lot of layers to this one. Take it away, Wine Time Bucks Spurs.
Oh yeah, Jim. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, they've got this is a young team against a veteran team, a young head coach against an old head coach here. This spot, Spurs being at home. Can't wait to go to the game that Friday night. I'll most likely be at that game. I don't really play poker like that. If I did, I would definitely do the tournament.
It's all good. That's great.
But I'm looking forward to, because honestly, like my kind of goal was to go to every MLB stadium, but I've been to more NBA arenas than I have MLB so far. So this will add to the list here at the San Antonio Spurs against the Sixers. That game will be fun. I know my guy Billy B is going to go too. But yeah, I'm on the Spurs here in this spot, guys. You guys kind of know my wheelhouse when the spread is around this for the Spurs, especially being at home against a clear-cut better team in the Milwaukee Bucks. I desperately do need a win here. And I do think that's fishy. They desperately need a win here to go back home. And the line went from a 2.5 to a 2. I gave out the money line at a plus 115 when I posted my card earlier. It's now at a plus 110 at both of my books. So the line's definitely moving towards the Spurs. We're seeing 20% of bets, 29% of cash on the Spurs. It's right in my wheelhouse. I mean, this is like you're betting with Vegas here, and I think you're betting with the team that needs a win desperately here. The Spurs need this win, guys. The Spurs have a young and up-and-coming team with Wemby, Devin Vassell, Castle, you know what I mean? Like, and then you got Chris Paul, the veteran point guard out there. He's kind of hit or miss, you know what I mean? Suspect on defense. That's the one thing about him, but he still kind of controls the floor. And I think that he's going to want this game. We know how much of a competitor Chris Paul is, and he's going to want a lot out of these young guys here tonight. They need this win. I think they're emphasizing that here. Like, one of the best teams in the NBA is going to come into our house. We got to take care of business. Damian Lillard, Giannis, Chris Middleton's going to be playing in this one. Everyone looks like they're playing here, but yet they're only it opened up at a -2.5, and now they're a -2. I'll take Spurs here. If Spurs lose by 20 points, guys, I will not regret this pick. This is a Spurs spot here, in my opinion. I think they take care of business here. It might be a close game, but I do think they're going to pull away here at the end. Give me the San Antonio Spurs. This is more than a 1-unit play, guys. This is a 2-unit play for me. I know we all track 1 unit, but just so you guys know, this is my biggest play of the day here is on the Spurs money line plus 115.
I get it. No, it makes sense. I mean, my only issue is just Bucks looking bad in Portland. If they had won 125, 112, I'd be right there with you.
Yeah.
This is clearly the sharp side. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's no chance I'll be on the Bucks. It's whether or not I'll be on the Spurs. I completely get it. It's also my dude's play of the day as well. Mr. Belvedere on them as well. I get it. Let's talk about the Friday night game, because this game is going to be bet so heavy. There's no other game within 2 hours of this game. And don't forget, in college basketball, there's only one game at 9 p.m. Like every
it's
basketball
a small college basketball card today. It's crazy.
Oh, it's a relief. Jesus.
Yeah, for real. I have nothing in college basketball today, so
Oh, I love the card. I'm going to have a lot invested in it. But let's talk about this spot here. This is going to be the most bet game of through any sport or anything today. This game's going to be massively wagered on. 10 p.m. Eastern, Phoenix Suns 24-22. This is also our last game on the show. We're going to race camels. I dig in the camel races, man. So we're going to race camels here for $50 in a second. Suns 24-22, 9-13 on the road. The Golden State Warriors 24-23, 14-12 at home. This is fun, man. This is what makes capping great. Games like this. Chase Center in San Francisco, California. Both teams 3-2 over their past 5. Let's get into the line of history here. We'll start with the total. We got a 228 at a pick'em. This opened up at 228. There's been like a 2-cent move towards the under. Oh, shoot, let's get that up. Let me get over to the point spread here for this one. On the spread, we have Golden State plus 1.5, minus 105. They opened up at minus 1.5. They got up to plus 2. So the Suns have gone from dog to favorite. DC Capper, I rocked with you. I was with you, Joy, and I came so close to doubling up. It was a great look at every single part of that look that you were on because we didn't talk about it on the show. When I went over, I was like, it all correlated. It was just sharp action, DC, and I needed it badly. So thank you, my friend. Working together. Chris Warren on Barnes over 12.5 points at plus 105. Phoenix 3-2 over the past 5, playing at 26th fastest pace, 96.9 possessions game, shooting 47.3 from the field and 38.2 from 3. The Warriors playing at 21st fastest pace, 98.5 possessions a game, shooting 45.2 from the field, but 39.1 from 3. Black Thor King in the house. Another OG low bagger. Black Thor says Warriors take care of business at the crib. End of story. So Black Thor King not concerned that the Warriors have gone from favorite to underdog. Another element to this is most people think that Jimmy Butler is going to one of these two teams. Suns or Warriors.
Wow.
That's the expectation.
That's it. Where do you think he's going to go, Jim? Where do you think he would fit best? I should ask you.
The problem with the Suns is they can't make the move unless they send Beal to Miami.
Yeah.
So the idea is that the Warriors will send Wiggins. So Wiggins is going to go to Miami.
Who do you want, Wiggins or Beal, Jim?
I want Wiggins at $27 million, 10 times out of 10 over Beal at $50 million. I don't care if Beal's okay coming off the bench. Fuck, do I care about that?
Yeah.
I mean, who cares? I don't care if you're a nice guy and you're a team player. I don't care. $50 million a year for that. But the Warriors are going to have to give up more than just, Wiggins. And Wiggins isn't like highly sought after. I mean, you're not getting enough bang for your buck with Wiggins anyways, but Swish says the Bucks he wanted Dame. Yeah, the Bucks were talked about. So we'll go over all this. And BJ in the house, best bet is on the Suns. BJ moving on the Suns is his best bet here. I certainly would like to have action on this game. So let's dive a little deeper here. So Suns had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 121-113 loss at home to the Timberwolves on Wednesday. KD goes for 33, Book goes for 28. And this is the first of a back-to-back. This is also the first of 3 games in 4 nights with travel. They play at Portland tomorrow night, and then they play at Portland again on Monday. Warriors coming off their second straight win, 116-109 at home over the Thunder on Wednesday. Wiggins, aforementioned, went for 27. This is game 5 of a 6-game homestand. If it wasn't, I'd already be on the Suns. Game 5 of a 6-game homestand is in NBA and NHL is my spot. The Suns are a healthy group. The Warriors don't have Kuminga or Draymond Green. Take it away, Wine Time. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. This is the big one. Suns Warriors.
Yeah, shout out to the Warriors a couple days ago, beating the Thunder outright. I was on them plus 10. Didn't give it out anywhere on any social media. Ended up backing a money line second half. Ended up cashing it. It was a thing of beauty, Jim, honestly. And with that being said, I'm on the complete other side. I'm on the Phoenix Suns, the team I faded here just 2 days ago when I was on the T-Wolves. Took care of business. I think that was a big game for Ant. He won every time Ant plays KD, man. Those primetime games. He wants those games. And Golden State, coming off a huge win against the best team in the Western Conference right now. And they go from a favorite to a dog. Suns go from a dog to a favorite. Right in my wheelhouse. I'm on the 1.5, Jim. I got the -1.5, -110, gave it out on Twitter already with the Phoenix Suns. I want to just check and see if my 2 books right here moved it. Yeah, it did move to a -1 about an hour ago. Right before I got on with you, it was a -1. It moved back to a -1.5 at -110 at both my books. Definitely love to see that. I think the Suns are going to take care of business. I don't know if I backed the Suns more than once this year. I believe I'm 1-0 backing the Suns. And it hurts me to fade the Warriors after just making some dough on them and knowing that, but they're back at home again. I think they got their win against OKC. I don't think Draymond's going to be playing this one. We know Kuminga's out. That's the thing, is Wiggins going to be able to score 30? You know what I mean? Is he going to be able to score 25 to 30 points here in this game to keep them in the float? We know Curry, I'm sure he's going to have a game against KD. They're not going to have much for him. But the Suns, they've got so much star power over there. It's not a team I usually like to bet, but I'm betting them today here on primetime, going from a dog to a favorite. I think the Suns take care of business. I usually don't take 1.5. I usually just take the money line, guys, because I don't want to mess with that shit. But I'm going to take the -1.5 because I got it -110 on it. So we're going to move on it. Suns -1.5, -110 here.
-1.5, -110 on the Suns. I think this is a must bet. The problem is the 5th game of a 6-game homestand. I don't know if I can get over that. I guess I got to, though. Like, I look at Mr. Belvedere's card, Bulls +4, Spurs +2.5, Suns -1. That's a sharp card.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I'm on all 3 of those plays, except on the money line on 2 of them. I love it. That's very sharp. I love the card today, Jim. I know it was a bad day yesterday, and I was amping up before the show. I was telling my wife, I was like, I'm so stoked to get on here and break these games down because I know I'm going to fucking kill this shit today. Like, today's like, it's going to be our day, Jim. Like, this is like, I know it's a big bounce back day for us.
Oh, man. These are good looks. Okay. Well, I'm going to, oh man, this life we live is just so messed up. So now it's the most important part of my day, taking all these notes and putting in the extra action, and then 7 p.m. comes and it's like, Jesus.
Yeah,
I used to have a bottle of booze and I could just walk back and forth with my shirt off. Now I can't. Now I'm trying to not booze every day. Today's extremely important. I can't.
This is a big day, Jim, for both of us, because my record right here on the show, guys, I don't want it. Like, that bugs me. That's why I want to come on here as much as I can, because I want to share my action, because I feel like
your overall record on the season with all of your actions plus.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to come on as much as I can, because I want to give out my action to you guys. I want to win on just not the 1 or 2 days I come on. I want to give you guys free winners. You know what I mean? I want to catch. That's all that matters here.
Oh, I'm right with you. I'm so with you, man. All right, Swish has 3 shots of Don Julio already. Swish coming. It's already 7 p.m. So Swish must be in Europe. A shout out to Swish. That Don Julio sounds good. Okay, let's review all action. Now looking at the Hornets first quarter, why would I bother with that trash? But I still am interested in it. Mavericks Pistons. We stayed off. Unfortunately, I would like to be on the Pistons.
I'll most likely be on the Pistons. Not yet, but I'll let you know and I'll tweet it out. But I'm right there with you, dude. Like, I gotta go with my instincts today. I know it's like I love the card today in the NBA. It's not that much. It's not that many games. There's usually more than this many games on a Friday. Last week we had a short card too, but like, I just love these games on the board, and I'm ready to attack these. I'm ready to fucking open up a beer and watch these games and fucking cash some tickets.
Oh God, I love it. Except the last 48 hours have been horrific. Unfortunately, you guys have seen me when I'm not in a good spot, and I have bad 40 hours, and I'm just a mess. So it's not like that, but still needs to be fixed. Wine time on the Nuggets -9 to -111. The only bet I've made so far is the Nikola Jokic PRA over 15.5. Sweaty Butcher Prime Cut 76ers +9.5. Bulls money line for Wine Time and the Skunt Blaster. Jermaine on Jakob Pertl under 10.5 rebounds. That's an interesting look. Wine time on the Celtics minus 10.5. I do have interest in the Pelicanos, but gonna wait on that. Wine time on the Spurs. Look, that is, I get it. That's sharp. I get it. Wine time on the Suns minus 1.5. I've got a bunch of asterisks beside the Suns. You have to fade. Forget the 5th game and 6th game homestand. You have to fade the Warriors after beating the Thunder outright. You just have to, right?
Man.
You just have to.
It was, and that second half, Jim, was magical. Like literally, if you guys watched that game, it was just magical for the Warriors. Like every shot went in. Like it's crazy. Like it seemed like old Warriors basketball second half when they're down at the half. Third quarter, they're the best team in the NBA. And all you got out there is Steph Curry and Wiggins. So I like the chances with the Suns here in this spot, man.
I like it. This Jimmy Butler, situation that's about to, come to fruition. It's going to be so fascinating. And then watching Jimmy again with all this to prove again.
Exactly.
Like it just seems like this circle, just the cycle, I guess I should call it, just comes and comes again. There's Wine Time's X handle here in the chat. Please support our guy, Wine Time. It's tough, on our show. Obviously there's a lot of people, a lot of touts that won't do the show because we keep records, right? How are you supposed to sell your picks if people actually know how you're doing? And so it's tough with our record. Now we just saw you went 60% in the regular season college football, and you were phenomenal, up 30 units on our show to close things up. So we know what you're capable of, and I feel the same sickness, that sick feeling when you look at your record and it's out there publicly, and it's what makes our show different from all of the other shows. So I respect the fight and you and the dog and you. I respect it very much. Wine Time. Thank you for rocking with us here. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, always a pleasure doing the show with you, my guy. I appreciate you having me on here. I love sharing my action with you in the chat. Love everyone in the chat, man. I feel like love's the right word this week, man. Just love all around to everyone out there. Good luck on all your bets, even if we're not on the same side. Bankroll management, guys, it's always important. You know what I mean? I know everyone in our chats, mostly everyone's smart. Good bankroll management, all that stuff, but keep that track and just keep doing what you're doing if that works for you, and keep cashing these tickets. I can't wait to kick it with you guys in San Antonio. If you haven't booked your flights, book them this week. Guys, a flight from LAX to San Antonio Wednesday, get back Sunday is $120 for me right now. I'm about to book that right now. Just absolutely crazy cheap flying to San Antonio if you can fly out of an international airport. Get there on Wednesday so you can be prepared for Thursday morning, because, guys, Thursday, it's going to be a lot. You're going to get to Southtown, and everyone's going to have their bets placed. The games are going to start going, and the adrenaline's going to kick in. The drinks are going to start flowing. We're going to be going live on the show there, live in the studio, guys. Can't wait for you guys to see that. It's a blast, man. I'm so stoked. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, Jim. And let's get this cash.
Let's get this money. Our guy, Wine Time Sports from Los Angeles, California. All right, let's put a bow on the proceedings. A lot of bets need to be made. But first, Satchel, I don't know if we're going to actually do a full tourney. Nobody was able to beat me last year. I went undefeated. We need
more of an open challenge.
Yeah, we need someone to beat me. Troy took me to overtime one game. I was down big, actually. I just, he's got to stay in his shoes. He's got to keep fighting back,
Sure. Yeah, just like in ping pong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in my I have a peanut butter burgers. Yeah, man. I have a torn the reviews are in from the doctors. I have a torn tendon in my shoulder, my right shoulder. So they're going to put me on steroids.
Uh-oh.
The surgery is an option. I don't want surgery, so we're gonna try steroids. I want a little HGH, hoping for a little HGH. Hopefully, I can bring some HGH down to San Antonio.
Sure. I need it. Obviously, look at my.
We all do. It makes it better. We're not. This is not GHB, HGH. HGH. What I'm gonna be bringing down. Yes, Lynn, we can definitely do that. Remmo says, will Jose be recording his sports card activities this weekend?
Yeah, we'll be putting together a video, the whole thing, Rem. Don't you worry.
Sweet, that's really exciting. What a fun weekend ahead of you, my friend. Let's race. Let's just race. Then we will review all action. $50 online. We had some new gold members. How many do we have now, Jose?
82. Shout out to you guys there as well. By the way, Jimmy, I thought GHB was definitely an STD, and now that Saturate's saying I'd like to see Jose on GHB,
It's
I now
the
don't know
date
what it
rape
is.
drug, Jose. It is the date rape drug. Now, if you have no alcohol in your system, then you just, you get, high. It's like whatever. But if you have alcohol in your system, you are no longer moving. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know these things.
It's a perfect drug for you because you don't drink very much.
That is true. That is facts.
I must have told, like, I can remember fucking Jeremy Kalaniuk in cross-checking because he was such a big defenseman. Cross-check down. I'm sure that was what the first time it happened. That's when I separated it, but I don't know. I just never got it checked. I never got it checked. I tried to get it checked like 8 years ago, and I had to go into the MRI machine, and I was like, I'm claustrophobic. I was like, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. And then afterwards, like, we could have given you something. It's like, well, why didn't you tell me 30, 40 minutes ago? But so now I'm going to try it here.
I didn't know you were afraid of Santa Claus. It's very interesting.
Santa.
It's
Kids
joke.
Oh,
Kids
God.
joke.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to end the show. That's how we're going to end the show.
Yeah, SpongeBob. It's good shit. It's good shit,
God.
just like these lovely camel races. We're off. Preston, NJ Striker, Matty Ice, and that sweet, sweet taint of his all up in here as well. True. Yes, Matty Ice taint sweet. I said it. Top set up there in the mix here. Big Show picks also as well. Ryan Kozlowski sticking that neck out there, as well as Joey Harbin, Dabby Cab, Jimmy up in
Here comes Nasty Nate. Here comes Nasty Nate. Finally, can he get his camel's head out front? Nasty Nate gonna finally do it after all these years. Nasty Nate has come to the front. Nasty Nate's trying to get home. He's going. This camel wants it, but Ryan Kozlowski says, "Sorry, Nate, you're losing." Here comes Paul Taylor the Sailor, blowing past Nasty Nate. Now, not blowing Nasty Nate, but blowing past Nasty Nate. He gets on the board. He was actually on the board, yesterday as well? So Nasty Nate in third. And what do you get for third place, Jose? Tell him. What does he get?
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing. Not a fucking thing. Squad as zilch and nil for our friend Nasty. I thought it was his time. Didn't you think it was his time?
I did. I got excited for Nasty Nate.
Now, we'll be racing in San Antonio this year. No, we will. It'll be fun. I think that we should do it though, like on the big screen, like late when there's only like one game on. Like it's all, we could all put in $20 and race. I think we'll race, and maybe a little longer as well. Nasty Nate almost putting on the CMAC was right up there. Gerald Jones, shout out, happy birthday to your granddaughter Mila. You're a great friend of the channel. Look, Big Ragu up there, the nuke worker, excellent stuff. So Paul Taylor, the Sailor, $50 richer.
Congratulations, Paul. American as well.
Let's review all action, Jose, and then I'd like to hear what you are doing tonight. So, in the National Hockey League, I am on there's the respect play day, the under 147.5 in the Yale game. I put in the hockey stuff for some reason. I'm on the Knuckleheads. A plus 158. Be curious to see what it is right now. I don't know. I like seeing that. Plus 140 here, 365. I didn't get it at 365, so let's just see. That is a good sign. Let's just see what it is here. You have to look. I'm not in the black, and I can't sit here and feel too good about anything. But I've had some reads that were bang on, and that the Canucks, man. I've been bang on with this read. Let's get the NHL up here. Where the hell is it? Sorry. NHL. God, sorry. I know it's taking too long. Here we go. Okay. We have plus 144 here. And the total on the St. Louis, Colorado. So I'm on the over 6 at plus 100 in St. Louis, Colorado. I'm on the team total on the Knuckleheads. Team total over 2.5 plus 102. It's now just plus 101. All of these lines are available. My guy Cuban Connect in the house. What up, Cuban Connect, man? Respect. That's who you need to reach out to when you go to Miami. Get Cuban Connect rocking with you. Great guy.
Sure.
And then we move on to college basketball. By the way, Stacks play today. Number 1, Clippers minus 14. Number 2, Siena plus 4.5. Pig Milk play today. St. Peter's minus 1. The UFC play today for Pig Milk. Nurmagomedov. Do you know how to say it?
Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov.
Oh, nice work. Both brothers here with Shamil Gaziev. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the chat.
Your soccer pronunciation was great. You're talking Leganas and Rayo Vallecano was great.
I was close.
Yeah, Leganas, and Rayo Vallecano. Great job.
Trilogy play today. Jokic over 27.5 points. Jay Peasy on Princeton plus 3. What's that? I want to know what that is right now. Come on, tell me it's a 2.5. 2.5. What's the first half? Tell me it's a 1. Still 1.5. It didn't make it. Okay, whatever. Still, that's good. That's good to see. Good to see. Saturated says on this episode of Canadians trying to pronounce shit. Look, just me, man. Lots of action to pull in. CMAC has a lean to the under in Georgetown. Butler, we'll see if he gets to the window with that one. I'm interested in Georgetown. I have a lean to Manhattan. I don't know if I get there. Dayton. Harvard. Oh, CMAC's on Harvard. Morgan Spooner on Brown. CMAC is a lean to the over in Brown, Pennsylvania. Kent State, I bet -3, -110, which was probably, that makes me think I got the wrong time. So yeah, it's -3, -110 still. Morgan Spooner got Kent State on the money line -120. Fairfield, I want. Mount St. Mary's, I want. St. Peter's, I want. And the team total over. St. Peter's line changed at all. That is everything good here. I'm pumped up. Every new day, new hope. Canisius, we have CMAC moving on the Canisius Niagara over. Indiana first half. Has that moved? Let's just quickly check. Is Indiana? No, right there, right where we want it. Then Siena, but I'm going to wait on Siena. We have Strategic Investments. Chapidor play today. Phoenix Suns. Respect play today. Yale under. And we just went over all NBA. We don't need to go over that again. So that is our show for today. Jose, that is the week that was, my friend. What a roller coaster ride. Horrific. Tuesday, just absolute glory. Wednesday, Thursday, fall apart. What does Friday hold? That's the question.
That's the question. I wish you luck. This weekend, I'll tell you what, holds a lot of starting 5 for people who have a loaded starting 5 show this weekend. Wine Time, I know, is going to be on there. Troy Torrance also as well. And, of course, like we've mentioned a few times, the Alamo Card Show this weekend. I will be there all day Saturday. Me and my good buddy Vince Young rubbing elbows talking about the Cheesecake Factory. So can't wait.
That's cool. Yeah, I wish I could be there as well.
What would you ask Vince Young?
I wouldn't speak to him.
Okay, fair enough. You're right. I forgot.
I wouldn't even. I couldn't. I'd be looking at all the cards, and I wouldn't. I have nothing to say to Vince.
Yeah, I don't either, but I assume I might have to interview him at some point here. Nutflush, by the way, wants to know your final score prediction for Dallas Vancouver today.
3-2 Vancouver.
There you go. Nutflush.
And that team total, I think I did write it in. It's 113.5 for the Golden State Warriors. That's an interesting team total under. Very, very interesting.
Yep. And Billy Friedrich will never know what Jimmy had to say about Bernie or to Bernie Kosar. We'll never know.
I would tell Bernie the story. I would tell him the story and how I've just, I would tell him the story. Yeah. Wine Time says chicken Bellagio is a dish everyone needs to try.
That's very random, but thank you, Wine Time. He loves the Cheesecake Factory, so.
Oh, the chicken dish for me, I got to spend 5 weeks at the Le Montrose Hotel in Beverly Hills while I shot one of the worst movies of all time, Underclassmen. 5 weeks. 5 weeks, Le Montrose. Had a quarter dropped off from the bellboy every 3 days. It was just like magic. It was absolute magic. I wore the robe. I was in the robe. No, I had a series of robes, Le Montrose robes.
I can see it now.
2 of the weeks, I only had to go on set one day. Like, it was just.
I might have to fire up Underclassmen.
No, it's unwatchable. Princeton +2 now. I like it, JPZ. But they had a dish called Paradise Chicken at the hotel that I ordered every day, and it was truly paradise. And it was this chicken, and they had apple on top of the chicken. And I never had paradise chicken at Le Montrose. That was the best 5 weeks of my life right there, Jose. 23 years old, best 5 weeks of my life.
Well, who knows? It might be coming around. They're thinking about firing up one of your old films again. So who knows?
What, the Final Destination?
Yeah, they're thinking about bringing it back.
Just play my death scene in the credits, please. Please.
Give our guys some resids, please. Just mention Frankie. Do something.
The resids from Final Destination 5, just because they played my death scene in the credits, are great. So
God bless them.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. You know what? I just had 2 horrible shows, and to have everybody here rocking with us and believing in us, it means so much. I'm jealous of all the other. I look at all these everyone putting out picks, and there's not a whisper of their record year long. Nothing. Yeah. They give you the date. They give you their picks. What a life it must be for them. No accountability, no fucking anything. Every show you watch, every article you read, no accountability, no nothing. They go 0-5. They don't give a fuck. They start up their next article and don't give a shit. Here we have to face the music, and it's
sometimes
so
it's loud.
It's so awful.
Sometimes it's loud. I was at Circa obviously this last weekend, and I was just staring at the VSIN studios, and I was like, I see no records. I see nothing. I see nothing of accountability. I spit on you guys.
Well, they're very lucky, right? And when I first went down to SBR, the manager said, "No, you can't put your records out. You can't. Don't. We're not letting you." And we had to fight because he's like, "What about when you're losing? What about who's going to watch when you're losing?" And we fought. He's like, don't do. That's ridiculous. You see anybody? He said, "Do you see any other show with their year-long records?" No, of course not, right? Because they want people to watch their show, and then so whatever. It's a long story.
Yeah. By the way, I assume that's FD3 is not a movie that the children are going to be watching anytime soon, huh?
No, I don't. No, and like I didn't. You just because I.
I don't think they need to see Frankie take an engine block to the head.
No, you don't.
Oh, God. Man, what a time.
What a time. Thank you, DC. Thank you for Georgia State, DC. I almost doubled up, man. I was sitting there, Ella's basketball practice, and I was like, and I came so close to doubling down. I wish I did.
Shout out to Vince.
That's a nice closer right there from Rem. Let me copy and paste Cuban Connects action. I've got to go get Ella. Speaking of which, I got to go pick her up, and I've got to get my action in. I've got a lot of work to do here. In our first game, Princeton, Jay Peasy leading us to glory. Shout out to our guy Jay Peasy, and shout out to all you guys. Billy Friedrich says, "Who's Pete taking the confidence pool?" I need to know. Yes, Pete looks like he will. Well, it's all coming down to that. I wish I could catch him. Can you believe I'm in 4th place and I can't move up?
That's disgusting. I've only lost 3 picks, and I'm gonna not even come close.
And you know what? It was all me switching the Buccaneers from a 4 to a 7 because I was like, "Well, I'm betting them, aren't I?" Oh,
yeah, those Buccaneers really fucked me. Disgusting stuff.
It's fun though. We're gonna do it for the college football playoffs next year.
Yep, it's gonna be a great time. Can't wait for that. And don't forget, obviously, tune in, or I should say, log into the website. See a bunch of great stuff, pubsportsradio.com. You'll see all the picks. You'll see the shows, all the thumbnails of all the shows. You'll see our guy MMA Mills and the Locker Room Talk podcast as well, and the UFC contest every weekend that UFC happens. Free $99 to enter. You can win $100. So it's a good time.
Oh, I love it. I have renewed hope. I feel much better after doing the show. I've been a fucking wreck for 48 hours. I mean,
Hope is a dangerous thing.
But these swings are too much. I can't handle it. And 1 minute you're like, look, it's dominant, and then you just, oh God, I can't. It's very, very difficult to handle.
And then one day you'll wake up and your shoulder's torn, and you'll be on GHB. Who knows?
This is a problem, man. This is a problem. That's going to be my excuse. When I'm on trial, I'll say I had to stab him because I have a ripped tendon here and I can't punch him. So I had to stab him. And they'll say, well, why did you stab him 43 times? I said, well, after one stab, it felt so good that I shouldn't.
Yeah, you were like, he traded JT Miller. Don't you understand? And then obviously the courts in Vancouver would understand.
I don't think they will. True Allah for the one swish.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy, not to make it weird, I have an Apple Watch, and every once in a while I'll look down, I'll just see a picture of Frankie Cheeks on my wrist. Just to let you know that.
Oh, that was the best of days, best of times, man.
Every once in a while, I'll just look down and I'll just be like, oh, look, there's Frankie Cheeks right there on my wrist.
Oh, but I don't owe you any money.
No, of course not. Yeah, the Bucks. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. One horse race I won means nothing. Fucking Bucks.
All right. Thank you guys so much, all of you, truly. MMA Locker Room, the star of our #1 show on our channel, the Locker Room Talk podcast. Black Thor King, great to have you back in business. Cuban Connect. I see all these names. They're so important to our channel. Elio, a DC Capper, Old E, Rem Most, T-Moss, Peaceful Looter, Billy Friedrich, the Philly Eagle Flyer, Swish. Thank you guys so much for all that you do for us. Not Flush Allen, JPZ. Let's get Princeton home. Let's get the wins coming around, man. I want to win so goddamn badly. Jose, take us home, my man.
Yep. And again, shout out to France. League Rugby. They're going to win plus 170. Cannot wait to cash that. Only 27-point favorites against Wales today, guys. Jump in while you can. And don't forget to leche los bookmakers.